conditions who enabled them, leading to an inevitable showdown between the government and the state within a state, the Shower Posse built in Kingston. An epic battle that saw the largest mobilization of the army in Jamaican history, the Shower Posse decisively crushed by the forces of law and order and the resignation of the country's prime minister. Add in the involvement of the CIA in arming the gang during the Cold War, as well as the role Lester Coke reportedly played in the assassination attempt on reggae icon Bob Marley, and you have a story filled with intrigue and bloodshed. And it all began in Tivoli Gardens. Lester Lloyd Coke was a bad man with a big belly. He was born in 1947 in Denham Town, a ghetto in West Kingston. In 1966, Coke, then a 19-year-old apprentice locksmith, was shot 6 times in the chest and left to die in the gutter. This was the same year that Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie visited Jamaica, where he was greeted at the airport by 100,000 Rastafarians who believed he was God. Coke was rushed to a hospital in Tivoli Gardens, a new housing project built by the right-wing Jamaica Labour Party, where doctors saved his life. When Coke left the hospital, he was a changed man. He became a passionate JLP supporter. Former friends who supported the left-wing People's National Party became his enemies. JLP politician Edward Siaga built Tivoli Gardens when he was finance minister. He bulldozed a Rastafarian shanty town called Bakawal to make way for the project. Siaga filled the new community with fervent followers. A project supposed to provide quality housing for the poor was in reality an attempt by Siaga to redraw the political map of Kingston to favor the JLP. Tivoli Gardens was Jamaica's first garrison community, and it goes on and on. In the beginning, Lester Coke worked for JLP enforcer Claude Massop, Tivoli Gardens' first Don Dada. Jamaicans call the criminal bosses who control poor neighborhoods Dons, after the Godfather. The Shower Posse was originally called the Phoenix Gang. Claude Massop headed the Phoenix Gang along with Carl Bayer Mitchell. Mitchell was implicated in the 1976 assassination attempt on Bob Marley. 2 cars of gunmen sprayed Marley's home on Hope Road, injuring Marley and 2 others. The reggae icon, who grew up in the PMP neighborhood of Trenchtown, told associates he saw Lester Coke skulking in his back garden before the assault. And it goes on and on and on. These are things people must read. Let me give you the name with my friend, where you can go Google and read the rest of it, because I don't want to take up the show with all of this. It says Shower Posse, the original Black Mafia family. And there you will learn, my sister, who Edward Siaga was, the damage that Edward Siaga has done to Jamaica, a damage from which Jamaica has never recovered, and Andrew Holness continues to carry out that same damage from even today, my sister. And that is why I say people who understand them political history can never and must never look on the Jamaica Labour Party as a source that has the Jamaican people, poor people, interest at heart. They have never had their interest at heart, and they will never have their interest at heart. You know who the JLP serve? White and fair-skinned uptown Jamaicans, the Israelis, the Syrian, them were in Jamaica, and all those fair-colored people, them were in Jamaica. Those are the people that the Jamaica Labour Party stands for. And all of you black-skinned Jamaicans who out here on social media cursing other people and bigging up the JLP and talking all kind of things about Mark Golding and all of these things. Some of you say Mark Golding never born in Jamaica. See, don't remember that Siaga was white. Siaga never born in Jamaica, but he came to Jamaica and with the aid of the CIA destroyed Jamaica. Those are the things you need to go educate on yourself about and stop coming on social media and making a jackass of yourself, because it's either too blind to see that the Jamaica Labour Party not have the best interest at heart. And as poor black Jamaicans, this is why Marcus Garvey said, people who don't know them roots, them don't know which part them are go. And that is no problem. Can't want the best for Jamaica and I go look for Andrew Holness to be the best for Jamaica. He will never be. And if Mark Golding should ever turn Prime Minister and keep up the same foolishness, we're going to tell him say he need to step down too. It is time for Jamaicans to get up. Well, it is time for Jamaicans to get up and realize what is best for Jamaicans. You can't even go down the public hospital. Them not have no bed. People who need to do urine sample of your buy box juice or bottle drink and wash it out and pee in it for them use. If we put them urine in use as urine sample, people go to hospital and lay them on the floor. I want to have the audacity to want to come out here and want to talk about Andrew is doing. He ain't doing anything, because if you don't realize when them sick, if them not go at 22 swing, or them not go at Andrews, or them not go at Medical Associates, them take a plane and they go to New York and then go to Miami. How much a uno can afford that? I go to Jamaica and my friend mother have breast cancer and them diagnose her. Them never even have the needle to do the biopsy. Her daughter have to send to Miami to get that needle. Them diagnosed the 80-odd-year-old woman with breast cancer in January, and then schedule her to have the operation until December. Them operate on her and send her home without even any antibiotic. The next day, the breast where them cut off have infection. Me down there, me see it. So don't come out, don't come on social media with no rubbish and try to big up people who don't have the best interest at heart. How many of you can afford to go to 22 wing? How many of you can afford to go to Andrews or to Medical Associates? It is time for you to get up off of the foolishness and want better for yourself, for the children, and for Jamaica. And Andrew Holness is not it. I mean, I know how much further you want him put the country down and not talk about fourth term loading before they wake up and see the reality in front of you. You continue, yeah?
But, look, well said. Well said. But look, respect Michelle. Yeah, but look here, boss lady.
I know about it because the rest of the family that live down there, them bulldozer, they were all my family. They were all my family when them bulldozer them down a back a wall. So a serious thing, make them stand there. Go on,
look here, boss lady. Boss lady.
Yes,
a man like Bob Marley, where one fee unify, bring unity to the Jamaican citizen, and sing their righteousness. Who that cup? Somebody cup. Milo, go back down. Milo, go back down and come back up. Kaya, I mute the mic.
Mute the mic.
No, I mean.
Are you? And you see what them do? For sure how evil them is. Do you know, Michelle just read it to you, but we are telling the same Labour Party, send go shoot up Bob Marley house. I make him have to run left Jamaica and go to England.
Yeah.
They said Jamaica Labour Party, they said Edward Siago. So how can we say that party is a good party for human being? It's not. And we live it and we know what history, we are taught the truth. We're talking the truth. And when the CIA get them work finished, what them do with Edward Siago, throw him under the boss. Throw him under the boss. Why you believe America hard on Jamaican? Because the show up us to come America, come mash it up. The book is there where you can read about it.
Wow.
The book is there where you can read about it. The shower posse mash up America.
Bless.
Yes.
Bless. Just to piggyback. No, just piggyback to where you just said a while ago. Enough people, the word shower. If you ask them how them get the name shower, them can't even tell you. It's an FBI agent. When them hold Vivian brother, right? Vivian brother the one who first. And when them go and dance at night time and them are left, and them shower the place with gunshot and FBI agent, give them the name, shower posse. I never labor, give them themselves name, shower posse, you know. It's the FBI agent name them like that because every party them go when them are left, they have be a bullet, them let go. You see what I do? So you're right. Carry on, my sister.
Yeah, you understand me? So when you hear them cross my car, I come out and I talk. We're not doing no misinformation, we're not spreading no misinformation. A reality we attack.
Let me address somebody, please. Watch your mouth. Only hope you have evidence to this. Sample is there on Google. Is there on. You shouldn't delete him yet, man. Oh, it's there on YouTube, Google, and the Wikipedia link. All of this what we're talking about. That's the history.
You see, some I can't follow him, I will do it like follow him. So nobody argue with him.
Go on top of the life. Just go on top of the life.
The book there, shower posse mash up Jamaica. That's why Jamaica get fights. So that's why them in America have Jamaica as bad people. True Siago, true Edward Siago.
The whole of the bless. What you went and then did I do the mining? Where them stop. Who get the contract?
Vivian Blake's son.
All right.
Reality, we're out in the atmosphere we attack. Go read.
Oh, you know, honestly, when I see them come, don't even argue with them, you know, just block them and get rid of them. Because let me tell you something, my grandmother always tell me this, you know, you do not argue with illiterate and ignorant people because they will beat you over the head with them illiteracy and ignorance. In other words, they will never ever admit the truth.
Them not gonna admit the truth. Let me tell you, a lady with the Prime Minister the other day, and the Prime Minister will have function. When the Prime Minister ready for what their mouth, the lady said, listen, Prime Minister, the health care system is suck. We don't have this, and him just sit down there looking at disbelief in a shot. The lady said, I have a disabled son, and I can't even get the help, the need. And it's true, the country is only feeding for the rich and the wealthy. When you look, I was just coming from Papine. Chinese sit down all in a Papine park. When you look, white people are walk up and down. Not saying they must not walk up and down, you know. But if you know the musical Rick Ross do, they take it over one city at a time. They are taking over everywhere. When you go inside the Chinese store, right? We are only slave inside there, and especially when you go D-World, you go to all these places. It's pure Chinese. I was in Spanish Town, and Spanish Town is supposed to have a lot of black owners. It's pure Chinese, brother. Indian in the mall. Bunch of Indians fixing phone. When the man them used to sit down and fix phone, the government come run them where lock them up and all kind of things. See, you know, Indian take that over. Pure Indian, pure Chinese, and even what you call it, the tourist thing where them drive the bus, Jota. White people are drive Juta bus now. White people in it. Everything is foreigners. Everything buy out, sell out. Everything sell. We have no beach. We have nothing. And any man, we couldn't go a gunboat beach, come lie down with your family on a Sunday. We have nothing. The local sun something where they make a Montego Bay. When holiday come, them tell us it's close to repair. So you still don't have a beach. You don't have nothing. And all them do, the only people that is making money right now is the police them. You have no ambulance. You buy more police car than or you buy ambulance. And you need ambulance for accident. People have to put people on wheelbarrow and fling them in a back a chunk of car to get them to hospital. Why is that? When Manley was in power, when Portia was in power, we have a lot of ambulance. You have a lot of ambulance driver. All of that shit cut out.
PJ, when PJ in a power, we have a beach,
Yes.
have everything.
Everything. This man come and him take every damn thing and give it to the rich. He doesn't care. And all that sweet talk when he come and him mouth full and them a talk about 1 p.m. A whole heap of them are going to get hungry. A whole heap of them are going to suffer. You see what him do with a whole heap of them who vote for him? Him go and send the police them go take them out one by one. One by one. One by one. And then when it come near to election, you hear him come, oh, the police must respect human rights. And the police must respect the citizen. As election time done, him and him water mouth, junkie, we piss up himself.
Arrest John.
Ministry of National Security.
Arrest John.
Right? Right. Frat him out. When them done, him tell him, say, yo, go kill them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. That's all him do. Right? We have no help. People are suffering. Hey, let me tell you something. People, if minimum wage just raised to Musua, 16,000 or 17,000, right? And a man a work minimum wage a week. And if a car can take 8 grand in it, 8 grand gas in it, you tell me what minimum wage I gonna do. You tell me where that minimum wage. Remember I did tell them so I might give them 30,000. You remember I did say that in our last campaign?
And that's right.
Right.
You talking to him from
Yes. Yes, man.
I'm offended them.
And the licky PMP them, let me say this, I don't care who I'm vexed. The sellout PMP them, the licky, we switch and sell them vote for the $5,000 and $2,000, $3,000 and look at junkie, special one that when I go home, go beard. Let me tell you something, them are the cause of country. And you see, when them done, the local where local welfare help and him cut out all of that. The school lunch where kids could have eat a hot meal or have something on them stomach. Him cut out all of that. When you could have get proper medication for your family, where PMP did put in power, him cut out all of that. Let me tell you, me with you, the housing, when you hear NHD tell us that they make house, you don't hear nothing about it because them distribute it to them family and friends. There is no house make through NHD anymore to give to poor people. You have to go on the market and buy that. And let me tell you something. If you have 9 million and 13 million for the local matches box, the sweat box, we call it, you are in problem. You understand me? So who never won a house and think them are going to win it on Anita and Joe? Let me tell you so. They make a sad mistake, yeah? This is going to be real. I think it start yet? You think it start warm up yet? Look at you them get frustrated because when them go for one look work site and get one look two pants and them sister them can't survive, where you think them are going to turn to? Oh, if you say you don't have skilled worker, I have lot of skilled worker in Jamaica. But because them do not want to pay the skilled worker them here, and what them want to do is bring in the Filipinos and bring in people and put them up in a nice apartment and give them a big salary because of them skin color. Listen, I rest my case.
Milo, it is called bitter medicine. Go on, Michelle. Go on, Michelle.
May I help out my little sister a little bit because I want she understand some things. My sister, remember I was telling you about Spring Plains? Let me just read this little bit for you. In the early 1980s, former Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Seaga partnered with Israeli mobster Eli Tisona to spearhead Agra 21, a major high-tech agricultural and export initiative located at Spring Plains. Tisona served as the managing director of the government-backed project, which was designed to grow winter vegetables for US and European markets. The project ultimately collapsed in scandal in 1999. US federal authorities convicted Tisona in a massive money laundering operation that washed $43 million in Colombian drug cartel proceeds. Prosecutors and investigative reports identified him as a powerful figure in organized crime who used these agricultural and shipping ventures to facilitate drug smuggling and finance networks. The Seaga administration faced fierce political backlash and accusations regarding narco-corruption as the Spring Plains farm reportedly employed known gang figures to handle its security. So you see what I tell you, my sister? The truth is there, and if people seek it, they will find it. Here is one of our past prime ministers who many Jamaicans laud and big up and put on a pedestal. Yet this man, Edward Philip George Seaga, was responsible for destabilizing Jamaica, for allowing guns, drugs, and bullets to enter Jamaica, and the genocide of hundreds, thousands of Jamaicans, my sister. Now, when you go and sit down and meditate on these things and go and educate yourself about these things, ask yourself if you can honestly think that such a political movement to this day can have the best interests that Jamaicans at heart. I'm going to leave the history lesson right there, so my sister.
Cha. Keep garden. You see, keep garden. That's why Keith Garden is one who eliminate a lot of PMP underneath Seaga. Because what Seaga bodyguard that, you know. And you see what happened to him now?
Oh, Trinity.
Him blind.
Trinity.
Dead
Yes.
now. Man alive now. Man alive. Him gone now.
And nobody, you know the funny thing? Nobody talk about him.
Drunk or that man.
That man
That the piece of junk for them.
the tear gas. First time me had the tear gas and I don't
Yes,
get Yet.
Yes. Nobody talk about him. Him blind. He go for you. Him run with the little man and we have a little cook shop. Him do all kind of wickedness. You see how God take him down? Blind him and make him suffer. And then send him out yard. Yes. So all the money, all the wickedness what him do to people, him think him could have did real. Hey, when they call him and send nobody
Milo.
even. Yo,
Uncle Milo, you see,
Yes, my
my
brother.
cousin, baby mother, with my little cousin, was coming on where Catita was, or where Caribita is, but they were coming from like down jungle side. And she had the baby on her hip, Gary, my little cousin. And I think her shoes lace, she was tying her shoes lace, but a D&G bottle truck was parked. And she bent down and tie her shoes lace. And you know, the Trinity shoot the woman, the shot lodged in her spine, and the shot went through my little cousin toe. It ripped off him toe and went in her and lodged in her. Trinity a drunk crow. And then him lie say a battle share thief.
Colin, what you say happened to Trinity? Them shot him?
no, he dead in him feces.
Him dead name shit.
They would have most tell nice it because me tell man wicked and that the man they you can't find man. Me say there was a protest and we got Jamaica house and the man come up there and back out some tear gas to blood and sweat and tear gas we no patcha. Tear gas the
Colin
crowd.
say him dead, he was shot. Colin say he was shot.
And that's why me ask Colin.
No. He wasn't shot. He wasn't shot. He died.
Okay.
Well, if he was shot, I would rejoice. And if he's dead, I'm still rejoicing. He's an
But
evil
listen.
bastard.
Them
Drunk.
blind. Them blind him. God blind him.
Yeah,
You
man,
understand me?
that's to the wicked, them, man. Exactly that.
God blind him and
Wicked,
take him
them.
out.
Yeah, man,
Never
and
forget it, man. Never forget it. The little cousin right now have no big toe. I'm a 9 foot.
All the things that when do fed with Siaga and the wickedness to people and the cruelty. Him is one of them. We make the police force stay the way it stay. Where
yeah, man.
implant a whole heap of weapon from people. You understand me? Whole heap of man him kill out, whole heap of man will lose
Yeah,
him
man.
father under the hands of Trinity.
They wanna talk while I'm about who Michael Man, the bodyguard. It's not to ask who was here a bodyguard.
Maybe
But
he was one
Michael
of Michael Mann, the bodyguard. Maybe the same person who asked that question was one of Michael Mann. Me block him.
DK Duncan,
No,
what DK Duncan do?
Me block him.
DK Duncan was Michael bodyguard. The only thing DK Duncan do is F, manly wife. That's it. He never go around and kill people.
Mr. Manu, you see, it's plenty.
That's it.
What is left now? What if them left to go like Trinity and like Siago? What if them wickedness? What
Yeah,
if
man.
they left?
So, let me tell you something. All the richness where them rich, and them a do, and a slaughter the youth them, and I do, you see how some of them police, let me tell you this. Let me tell you.
Okay,
There is a
Colin, I
police.
hear you.
I watch
I know
a
the
police
20
write a
youth
woman a
was
ticket. Now, 20 youth was a crime fighter.
Yeah, man, 20 you when remember when time when 20 you their own where station the name we used to live on East Green Street there, sir?
Central.
Central. Remember when them run a Central and me have one daughter we pass off now. I'm daughter I'm call her. You see anything? Me did let me tell you something, man. You have good police and you have bad police. Same way like no, but bigger Ford, Tony Hewitt, and them man, Batman and Robin, Brown and them man, they know was good police, but they're not play with criminal. If them know
Those
spending,
are
if him
police.
know say you do something, him warn you. He make sure warn you. So you say when him come for you, you must know say something bad. You know not no warning thing no more. Boy, me I tell you man, me never even know say Tony to you with the pastor. I say Kalina
Yeah, man.
say a piper them piper him up. You never know.
I think I'm one family that I'm not sure, eligible.
Mm.
But the point is what me I say, right? If you can find the money to buy all these new vehicles, buy all these new guns, buy all these new bulletproof vests, then why you can't buy ambulance? Why you can't put money into the hospital system? Why you can't put back money into the program? You are ticket people, you are the people out underneath. Hey, let me tell you something. I'm glad what them are doing now because I see I know file labor rights them where love come talk about 1 PM. You see when them get them ticket here, look here. Them turn you out, right? You are get ticket for eating in a car. You are get ticket for drinking a bottle of water in a car. You are get ticket for all kind of something. If you even scratch
All
your
kind of
back,
foolishness.
the police say you're not supposed to scratch your back and I ticket you. Hands up with them and
But
ticket you.
no, you say you can't even talk to your passenger.
Yes,
You can't
them a ticket you for that because them a say talking to your passenger is distraction. You see, hey, let me tell you something. Me can't tell you, say. I want to put taxi man when they jump and collect the free gas money. Me know, say, the next election, them know, hey, because it's when, hey, wait till after September. It's in September, you're going to sit here upon two shot, no, sir, two away. You see them a stop people and say, oh, you lose 10 points, you never know, say license suspended. You hear people are weep and moan and a ball.
Moderate.
You must see things.
Now listen to you, Tiny Walton.
Okay, now try to read the comments.
May I read them, man?
Brother,
Colin, press, no?
You need to just delete them. No, we don't need to in no conversation with them. Just delete them.
Right, yeah man, just
Where you pay them mind from?
In the comment, you know, people say certain things we're going to want a response. So to avoid the response, just
No, but you don't respond to them, you give them power. You don't need to respond to them. Make
no,
them
it's
take, make them time.
it's better them because you have to understand, Milo. They have gotten permission from the JLP hierarchy to create confusion and chaos on these PMP platforms. So we don't entertain them, period.
Block them, delete them, as them come up, you block them. Them use a different number, you block them. Then they hide and come underneath another name, you block them. Right?
Exactly.
Just like you see, hey, let me tell you about the JLP. You see, if you go and go say that, them just take it down immediately. Right? You just block them. You don't need to argue and run. Let us stick to our point. Let me tell you this.
Milo.
The road
Milo.
surface, shit water.
Milo, wait there. Make we introduce
Yes, sir.
you to a new comrade. She's at the top, the boss lady. She has been baptized today.
Boss lady. Yes, man.
Yes, she
Yeah, man. Respect boss lady.
Why you keep saying I've been baptized today?
Of course, you're not female comrade around here.
About whatever.
You learn something.
Stop telling the public I'm baptized today. I'm in a church.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
learn
you
it.
at the church, I know.
Can learn
Yeah,
the
I'm in a
history.
church.
Yeah, man.
To learn
I learned
the
some
history.
things today. especially from Sister Michelle. She gone, eh?
No, man, she's still there.
I'm still here. I'm
Still is
still
here,
here.
man.
All right. I learned some things from Michelle and another lady there. So
Bless me.
you know, it's not like I baptize, you know. Me not so easy for, you know, them way I don't tell you all I don't be into no politics. You see what me I say? Yeah, but any one of them could help my country, that's what I into. That's my final say. So I'm not baptized, I'm in a fool, I'm in a church. But I learn some things, I'm get to understand some things, and you don't know, I just say, well,
Yeah, man, one dog.
and so I'm going to sing a song about it. I'm going to sing a song about it, so I'm going to put it together soon. We come out soon, Clabber, and one them, we get it, and we get it. No.
Anyway, Uncle Milo, continue now.
You, but
Yes.
you.
All right. The road surface, you are collecting all these revenue. Lots of money. Millions of dollars. From ticket to license your car, everything. And you have filth. I run over in the street. I walked through Spanish Town yesterday. It's filth. I run over. Filth. And all these places, it's when you go up at Narbrook, smooth. Jackson, smooth. When the Prime Minister lived, Beverly Hills, the road them smooth and nice. You think of foreign, you think of Florida, you float. One time let go my car because I think when I part to drive. I forgot about the steering. The way the car just run smooth. You see as you come down now in the poor people, you hear every parts are shaking in your car. You understand me? It cannot be so. If the Prime Minister I got smooth up him road up at Jackson, our road must smooth. You're gonna go Tivoli, shit water road. You understand me? All over. And let me just say this. As bad as Bruce Colin, I'm not a Labourite. I am a PMP. But I must give Bruce Colin credit because I go to Tivoli and see them on flood and by 2 Tuesdays see the big truck come underneath Bruce Colin time. And them clear up the shit water. No, it just a run. Regent Street shit water. It just a run. I talk about 1 p.m. Hey, listen to me, man. Let me tell you something. Who is a bloody idiot. Because guess what happened? Guess what happened? That man is not a Labourite, and I keep saying it to you. He's not a Labourite. He's a businessman, and he's there to get rich and running business them. Because I can tell you this, sooner or later, if shit hit the fan, you're going to hear that man say, well, I'm stepping down. I need to spend time with my family. Because guess what happened? Him need to come out of the limelight for spending billions of dollars. Let me just leave you with this. And then me I go pass. You see the new ambassador that coming to Jamaica? I guess you guys hear about it. The new ambassador, you see when she come, when she touch down here, so, all of them go fall in line. Enough of them are going to scramble for cover. Who have house in Miami in a different name? Who have house a different country? Because them don't want a big house here, so you know, the money where them have, you know, and Miami and them thing that after them come out of politics, they are going to migrate. You know, believe me. Anytime Labourite lose, you go hear a whole heap of them a step down. Because them a make sure so them creep and them scrape and them scrape And them only going out for scraping, not for help nobody, not for help the people, not even for help for them one people. The only thing them are gonna do, set them back up, give them some book voucher. When come near for campaign, them come round and then go back round and them sit down with them and nice them up, give them a little thing, back to the old tricks again. Them not do nothing for the country, and the country is going to go down, 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 down. There's gonna be a time coming where you cannot. Why some you left after a tree, you probably need a pass or a special ID to head up to Jackson area, to head down in some place in a Montego Bay. Because when am I gonna do it up? And me I tell you, it is coming. If you don't have this pass, you cannot enter certain place of Mobile, certain place of Negril, certain place of Ochi, certain place of Jackson, certain place of where you call it up that and get a pass to head up there. And the only time you can do, unless he's a helper or a gardener, or you go up there go paint, or do something. The thing is, we are Jamaican. We wear the flag. And we should have equal rights of all and everything that been served for the people of Jamaica. It shouldn't be one set of people. You bring in some people from foreign, you pay them more than the Jamaican them were qualified just the same. That's the problem. We have a lot of problem. You understand me? If you were paying your nurses, all your nurses, you were giving them housing, proper housing, give them a proper money, your doctors them. Give them. You think them in a while left Jamaica go work off foreign? You give them a nice incentive. You think them in a while left this country? No. But the opportunity is not here, so them have to took. And then when here how wicked it is, you bring in people for come work here, and them reap the benefit. Rest my case.
Colin Aaron.
Wake up,
Yeah,
flat man.
Colin Aaron.
Wake up, man.
You have something to say?
Colin, welcome to the live. Welcome, Uncle Colin. Wagwan, my brother. Anything on the agenda today, sir? Yes, sir.
Listen, the reason, man. I want to add some things to the history lesson me and Michelle I give out. In regards to the 80s and Siaga and the drug dealing that he have entered in. And I think what a lot of people need to realize is that Siaga drug dealing wasn't with the Israeli mobster alone. It was also with the Reagan and Bush government. See, the payback for winning the election was to allow the Showa Posse to distribute drugs all over America with free passage. Remember when Siaga won that election, a couple of things that he did. And one, his first step was to deport the Cuban ambassador. The other step was to put out a bunch of quote-unquote wanted men. And one of those wanted men was Kenneth Black. And at that time, most people didn't even know his real name, moreover what he looks like. And you saw the picture on TV about one of the most wanted men in Jamaica. And so for all who don't know, Kenneth Black, aka Skingdon, train was passing, was one of Siaga early name in his once he's sworn. But what he wanted to do was not so much to get rid of Skengdon, but it is to get rid of the competition. Because he wanted Vivian and Jim Brown to have total monopoly from Miami to Maine, branching out to California, Arizona. Now, the reason why the show posse became so big is because the USDA allowed them to do whatever they wanted to do. You see, there's a guy by the name of, his nickname was Liquor Nut. Caesar Connor was his real name, from St. Kitts. He used to come to Jamaica from he was 7 years old to transport weed back to St. Kitts. Because at that time, kids weren't getting searched. And he became such a good soldier and pick up such ratings in Jamaica that Jim Brown them kind of adopt him as one of their own.
His name is Magla.
No man, I'm a Magla man. Liquor Nut is Anna Magla. Magla a different person. So it end up where the three top man for sure, well the four was Siaga, Jim Brown, Vivian, and Cecil. Cecil is the one that actually helped to take down the show posse. He became the DEA #1 witness. They put him in the witness protection program in Boston. And it was too boring for him. They set him up with a pizza store and everything. His own business. It was too boring for him. So he decided that he's gonna leave the witness protection program and went back to St. Kitts and became a monster drug lord in St. Kitts. But so when you look and see the destruction that Siaga brought to Jamaica, with drugs, with guns, with scamming, because remember this, you know, the person who make the most money out of Cash Plus was Siaga. You see? While we talk about Andrew making money out of Cash Plus, Siaga make a whole lot more money out of Cash Plus than Andrew. You see? Everything that it is bad and illegal, Siaga was always the center of all the dealings. You see? I remember Siaga used to be the head of Jamaica Football Federation. Not Football Federation, but Jamaica Premier League. And at that time, what do you call it there? Jerry Neville was the sponsor for the league. And he got rid of the Jerry Neville contract and took 100 million from Cash Plus as a sponsor, in which they all knew that Cash Plus was a Ponzi scheme, but they don't care. So when you talk about, when people talk about Siaga and the glorification, and Andrew is trying to like rebuild Siaga reputation by putting him for money and name school after him and name art trust building after him and all those things, you cannot wipe the stain that is Edward Siaga. You can't wipe that stain. That stain will always be there. I saw a plea case this week from Denton. And I heard the person who was on the opposite side said, this wiped the rumors that have been going around for years about me committing certain crimes. Brother, that can't wipe your case. You've been searching all over for vindication. I even hear you say Michael Manley say he was wrong and Michael Manley apologized to you. You've said that when Michael dead. That can't wipe your case, brother. You will go down in your grave grave with that on your tombstone. And that will never come off of it. They might apologize, but nobody else has. So the world that has have publicly convicted you will continue to convict you. Because you are too guilty to be innocent. And so when you look and see this Labour Party from Sierra come all the way back to this man who are trying to get vindication, you see they all mix up in one thing. Illicit substances, conman job, gunman, unaliving. You see? The other day, Mayor Bob Marley granddaughter said, we don't trust Labour, you know, because them try to murder my grandfather. Those are things that will never be wiped from the labor rights track record, their history. It is edged in stone. And those stones will never ever be blemished. You see? So I don't want anybody to get confused of what this party is. This party is not a political party, it's a terrorist organization. I rest.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you very much, because you picked up where I left off. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much, because I didn't want to bombard her with too much. But the history is there, and the history... Milo, mute your mic. Somebody need to mute them, yeah. And the history is there. And those who are willing to learn it will learn it. And those who are willing to understand it will understand it. And I will repeat myself as many times as I have to and say this. A political party, the Jamaica Labour Party, that is ultimately responsible for the genocide of thousands of Jamaicans, will never have the best interest of poor and disenfranchised Black Jamaicans at heart. And I rest there. Big up Audrey.
Ja. Remember this, you know, say, when Siaga did give Macmillan the names of the 10 most wanted man in Tivoli. And Macmillan said, there's nothing that I could do. For all who don't know, Macmillan used to be the police commissioner of Jamaica. And he said, there's nothing I could do because I don't know if them commit any crime. If you have any evidence that them commit any crime, bring it to me. And then I can make an arrest. All of a sudden, you start to see those people start to disappear one by one, by one, by one. You see? Ask them who shot Jati off of the bike. Where you say?
Ask them
Where's
that.
the tiny?
I don't know about that.
See? Nobody can wipe labor right history. Nobody cannot wipe labor right history. Labor right history is not a history. It's like Michelle said, it's a history of genocide, but it's also a history of massacre. You see?
Massacre.
And the thing with labor rights is that they do not partialize who they're going to unalive. They will unalive their own if it means that they have to survive. Ask Andrew and Christopher Tufton about that.
Cross, go and have several seats. The truth is not divisional. The truth is the truth is the truth. People like you who want to hide from the truth, go and hide from it. But don't you dare come here and tell Colin that he is creating division. When it is people like you, the people who serve your political affiliation that is doing that. The truth can never be distorted. The truth is never a lie. If you don't like what Colin is saying, nobody invited you over here, you can leave. Don't you dare come here and accuse Colin or any one of us on this platform who is educating the people about our political history that we are creating division. Go and have several seats. Hey, Colin.
When Netflix did the documentary that says Siaga is the one who gave the order to unalive Bob Marley, was Netflix also doing a division of the party or division of the country? What kind of division was Netflix trying to create?
Thank you. Thank you.
The issue is that the genocide and the massacre and the stain of the history of the Jamaica Labour Party is very well documented. It's not just itching people's brain. From Netflix to HBO, you can find it anywhere. From the New York Times, you can find it anywhere. Don't go by the Gleaner since you said the Gleaner PNP. Don't go by RJR since you said them a PNP. Go to independent source. Go to CIA records. Go to HBO. Go to Netflix. Go to New York Times. Go to the Washington Post. Go to Newsweek. I can give you many different reputable outlets that you can go to and find the history of the murderous unalivers that is the Jamaica Labour Party.
People don't know them history. And them don't search. Them don't do research. So when them hear certain things, they're not gonna say a lie. They understand. But and them know to go panic to find out if I true or lie people talking. That is it. Lot of these people the first time I hear them something else. What takes place from in the 70s to the 80s.
And I lie tell me learn a lot. I learned it.
I want to tell the boss lady.
Yeah.
Me, I deal in politics from 1972, the first time Michael win.
That before
I'm plenty. I do stuff when I hear now. Me never even remember both them stop the car right now. Me and the vote when voting time.
Yeah.
Plenty things we never remember, especially in the 70s. Remember in the 80s, plenty things will take place and them things there. But over here, me come learn plenty things. I remember plenty things. You understand? Because when me should have talked about the bulldozer back a wall. And then things, I think what me didn't know about because my family, they live on there, the Rastafari and them. Sam Brown and Burris and the Brown family them. And my uncle and cousin and auntie. Me can remember when time me that a Maxwell me born and grow. Me can remember when me a young little picnic. Every Sunday, my mother used to carry me down a Greenwich farm go buy fish. Because plenty of them, there was fisherman and fisherwoman on Greenwich farm beach. And people used to go down there every Sunday go buy them fresh fish. And if me not hear people talk about them something there, I remind me of those things. Me not remember, so that me I show you plenty things where the people must see them search. they research and they know what they are talking about. Because even Michelle, when she go do a research and get to learn a lot of stuff that she can come on a platform, come make we note certain things that go down and take place. And every day me say, boss lady, it's the same old playbook. See, I got same old playbook, a play out. And a history repeat itself because all of these things where Andrew are doing, those are the things where Siago used to do back in the days. And now me look on it and say, boy, Siago did wicked, but this man is wickeder. You understand? This food them have got dump. Where they are, and the same thing Siago did doing at the 80s when time they used to make the people shut up the food. And on Sunday when you go for buy the rice, you cook and something. Then time that me in my 20s, in my teens, but me remember when the guy shop out people, I tell me about me have to buy CFX with rice. And me remember one day me tell a woman, say, listen, me not buy none now. Because me not buy no married goods because me not plan for married. A calm, ton calm meal. Me buy and go my yard, go cook. Turn camping with me gungo. So me and my two picnic them. So if people who born and go through it and know the history, and 72 coming down, them can talk, but you see these little young people, 20 and 30 and 40 and even 50. Because I know everybody in them 50 know not about what's go down. So you can't say a lot of people that tell all you have to do, man, is go do your research. And you know if I lie, them I tell her the truth.
Hello. I want you to listen this.
First that come down.
My God.
The people them a cry out, boss lady, them a cry out. When election day, the politician them that the people in the yard at 1, 2 o'clock a morning. I look down to give them place a big vote. And I give them 5 and 10 grand. We go vote. And at the end of the day, the people them vote for them now and put them in a put him right there. And not care about the people them. Looking at Westmoreland, because the people them vote PMP. The man not care about the people them down there. People vote for him in St. Elizabeth. Look what them do. I take all the people off of the seaside. Take them off. So when you take off those people now where you used to go do them fishing and come in now and you take what they say from them, how they not gonna survive? Then I no work. I'm fishing after them work. Go fish and come sell. So when you them take that now from the people, them, how they not gonna survive? As a prime minister, you take the liberty and the living from the people. Them. That's not nice. That's not nice. Yeah, man, that's not nice, man. The people where you beg and tell say, boy, when they vote for me, when they win, they go double down a pay from 16 to 32. But when time the budget read, me I'll go to 18.5. And when the next budget read, and what when the first budget read, what the man do? Give them $1,000. You know, see now people them.
You know, so the first thing him do after I win the election, the first thing him do, then give themselves over 75 million increase to all of them.
300%.
No, that wasn't the percent that him get for his pay. They raised the pay again after the election. They raised it
Election
up again.
again.
Yes, after the first thing he did, the first thing. But I heard something, one lady crying. It made my heart melt. Is it I was playing a while ago? I was just
Yeah,
playing
but
it a while
you
ago.
drop down, me no know how you drop down. Play it next year.
Me say, man, my heart bleed, man. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you this. In foreign, right, they advise you to use, something where you put in your vehicle to put your phone on to navigate.
They stand.
Yes.
Stand for
The
up for your
stand.
car.
And that is what the lady have, and they give her $10,000 ticket for it.
Yes, that's what me hear
It is
somebody
wrong.
say.
It is not
And that
let me
me
hear
hear
it.
somebody say.
It is
That's
wrong.
not nice.
It's wrong.
The people
Listen.
get $10,000 for the government.
Let me can listen to it. I'm gonna start it from the beginning. Hold on. Man, may I tell you, man, no, may I tell you, me not know if them did vote for this, but this thing, man.
They're not sorry for you.
Listen.
Me say if it's spread all over the shop.
Anybody have any link for that lady? Anybody up here have any link to that lady?
No, me the boss lady.
Boy,
This need to
I'm telling
spread
you,
all over TikTok, make people hear what's
Listen.
going on.
it touched my heart. It touched my heart. It melt my heart. I am telling you. Because they're offering, they advise you to use that thing so you don't have the phone in your hand.
And right,
Right.
and that's why them carrying the earpiece.
Right,
So
and
you
that's
have the
what
phone
she's
up there,
doing.
and the earpiece. You know, and
Mm.
have it in your hand, say, you know. And that
Right.
is America, so I don't know why they might do that at Jamaica.
If me a drive and I eat or a drink, no police nah do me nothing. You hear what I said? If me a drive and I drink one water or drink some juice or I eat one patty or eat, no police nah do you nothing.
All right, so let me say something quick. Me just come off a live where LB 876 I talk about the demerit points, and from last year we've been at tell people say challenge every traffic ticket. Now when they come with the demerit point system, it doesn't matter if you pay the ticket, the points will still be added to your driving history, right? So it reached a point now where you must fight a ticket, because the only way those points is not going to be added to your driving history is if you get those tickets thrown out. And the point of eating and driving, as me say, we just go through the law. There is no such law in the Road Traffic Act stating that you cannot eat while driving.
That's what
Nowhere
I'm
in the
saying.
Road Traffic Act it
That's
is.
what I'm saying to
So
you.
what I'm going to tell you people is the government
along with the police, they are working on what you call presumption. They are not enforcing any law. They're just saying certain things and hope you go to court and plead guilty. That is what they're working on for.
Hustle.
Assumption is not facts. But if you go and plead guilty or if you don't challenge it, do you know when you pay a ticket, you admit to the
Yes. That's your guilt. That's your guilt. Yes, you admit it.
And that is why, and you need to know that when you keep on admitting to guilt, you're giving the police a clean record. When they audit the police and they see how much case they have completed with guilty plead, that's a star on their shoulders. It is showing on the record that the police is actually doing an excellent job.
Exactly.
Excellent job. And we've been telling you people, go and challenge every single ticket that you think is not lawful.
And clog up the court. Clog it up.
Remote.
When you know there's no law to support it.
There's a lot of people not really know them rights, and there's a lot of people who get scared of the police them because at the end of the day, the way some of the police approach the people and this bullyism, and you're telling them something and they don't want to hear what you're saying. And that is it, because let me tell you something. I can remember 2010, I was in Georgia and I was driving to work. And at the end of the day, I came to a stop sign, a four-way stop sign, and I stopped. This guy came on, and he stopped. And as I moved off, that guy moved off same time and hit me my passenger side, right? And at the end of the day, when the police come, the person who was driving, and hit me. It was him talk to the police because he switched over and the other guy, the driving position. And when you check and start, that guy seemed like he was a police son. You see, when we got called, no, the man tell me send me have a court, like him I said, me have to come my court 10 o'clock, the 3rd. Just put it like that. Right? Then, about the second, I got a mail in the box say I'm not to come to court until X time. So I say, all right, since I'm saying I have to come to court till further notice or whatever. Then at the end of the day, I get a subpoena. Say, the judge said I didn't turn up to court. So them telling my daughter was in Iraq, and I sent it to her, and I'm going to say, it's okay. You don't have to go to court. You just go and pay the ticket. Just go and pay the fine. So my daughter said, no, you're not paying no fine. You're going to court. And my daughter called the clerk of the court and told her what took place. Then the judge remanded another letter from me to come to court. And I took that letter that I got say I wasn't to come to court. And at the end of the day, he still insists. The day I go to court, he insists, just call me, I was talking, said, just pay the fine. You don't have to go see the judge. And my daughter said, no, she ain't going to pay no, because my daughter came down to go court with me. And she said, no, she's not going to pay anything. She said, Mommy, you're not going to pay nothing. You see, if you're going to pay, it's going to look like you're guilty, like you wrong. Just some time, if them tell you, say X, Y, Z, you have to find out that and go to the stream and the deal before you jump up here, nothing. As you said, you have to fight it. And exactly that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, man.
You Jamaica people just, you know?
Remember them come out and say with Wheatley, it is innocent until proven guilty. And if Wheatley, a public official, should be presumed innocent until proven guilty, so shall we. Go to the court and make them
young man that
prove
they
you.
on the land.
Say you commit an offense, then you can take it from there, because I will tell you again, it don't stop at parish court like what enough people think. It don't stop at traffic court. Traffic court is fully in one. But you see, when you appeal and you take it to a higher court, then you will see who really all the talk, because traffic court is an inferior court. You have superior court over traffic court. You have the appeal. You even have the constitutional court, which is the Supreme Court. No, the Supreme Court now deal with assumption. You have to come with evidence without a shadow of a doubt. You can't go there with hearsay and me a police and me just tell you what I want to tell you. And that's how it work at Supreme Court. You have to prove guilt and a crime of 3 elements. And you have to prove every single one. You can't just prove intent. You understand? You can't just prove, say him commit a guilty act. You have to prove intent, guilty act, and we need to see the evidence, which is the body of the crime. The 3 elements of a crime. You have to prove all 3. So people have to know, say, if you want good, your nose have to run. You have to take the time. You see, like your daughter say, no, mommy, because you see, if you pay this one fine, you go pay every other one. Because you think that is the right thing to do. That is what Jamaican people thought. They thought going and pleading guilty was a solution.
Yeah, man, that's how it is. Go on, man. Go and just go play guilty and call it off.
And
And
now
then they won't tell you.
they're being backed in a corner, because now just paying the ticket won't help you. You're going to lose your license if you continue like this. So you know what you need to do? You need to start find out the law that surround your offense and go and challenge it. Let them prove you're guilty, not just admit guilt. The Constitution says you're not supposed to incriminate yourself, and no one can force you to incriminate yourself. So if the Constitution, which is the highest law of the land, tell you, say, you no need to come inform by yourself in layman's terms, who else can tell you to inform? You're doing that.
Exactly.
You are informing on
Look
yourself.
at that madness and madness law them there. Because tell me now, me diabetic. And if me a drive, and I feel like me I'll get low. And me pull out a pack of peanut or a candy or whatever. And you stop me and see me a eat. My mouth and move up and let me a eat something. And me a go give me ticket for that? No mad. Beside them, a madness thing then the man. Then the thing that's business.
The black man the stick, they lick you hotter than the white man. So they can say, because
That's true, man.
there's a guy Friday, this guy came online and was saying that he get a seatbelt ticket. He forgot to pay the ticket, but him did have it on his phone. He did take a picture of it and have it on his phone, so him know the date. But the ticket was, he just cannot find it. However, he went to court. He said the judge charged him, was $2,000 and 2 points off his license. He said, if you see how much points drop in court Friday, he said, start already. He said, it already started. He said he lose 2 points for seatbelt, 2 points, almost $4,000.
You see,
That means I'll stop them on the top drive.
Jamaicans need to wake up and realize what is going on. And this is what I have been speaking about when I say, one, a lot of people don't know what they vote for. A lot of people don't know why they vote. And a lot of people don't know their rights under the Constitution. What is happening here, when the government set out a certain amount of money that they expect to be earned from police issuing tickets to drivers. The expectation is if the government realizes that it's a country of people where the majority don't know their rights, because these kind of laws will never apply to the people them when they Stewart, the people them when they Issa and people like that. These laws apply to the poor disenfranchised Jamaican. So because the government realizes that a lot of Jamaicans don't know their rights, they will come with all kind of draconian laws to get their money at any cost. And this is what the government of Jamaica is doing to the people of Jamaica. And the only way these kind of things will stop and change is when the people of Jamaica get up and stand up and let the government know they are not going to accept this. When the people get up and understand their rights under the Constitution and understand how to apply those rights, and then they will know what to do. We can't sit down as Jamaicans and them do this and all we do is come on social media and complain. Social media is not a courthouse. Why social media is an influence where it can help to bring about change, but people have to want change to get change. And when you have some people like the people that are coming on this program in the comment and they are typing 1 p.m. and all of this foolishness, it tells you exactly where Jamaica is at. And it's time for those who understand what is going on. And this is why I keep saying the PMP presently needs to get a backbone, because Andrew Holness is playing chess while the PMP is playing checkers. And they need to get a backbone and figure out, because there are lawyers within the members of the People's National Party that sit in Parliament who know the Constitution, who understands what parts of the Constitution are being broken. And I am puzzled as to why these things are not brought up and these things are taken to court, because what the government is doing is wrong. This is a dictatorship. It's no longer a democracy.
I'm going to say something towards that too. And while I don't agree with some of the things that the Chief Justice does, the Chief Justice come out and clear for himself. The Chief Justice say that the law, the court should not be a avenue for revenue, a revenue generating avenue, right? So the Chief Justice is telling you Jamaicans that the law is not about to generate revenue. That means that when the Prime Minister and him administrator come out and say that they need $1 billion in traffic ticket, the Chief Justice is telling you that it not support, that is unlawful. So you cannot say they don't tell you. You're just not paying attention. The Chief Justice, who is in charge of the judicial branch, come out and clear himself. Him saying not supposed to go like that. But what? If you don't file a complaint, then the court cannot help you. Law require action. You can't just talk and complain and bawl. You need to do something within the law. You need to motion the court. You need to move the court. Law not just by itself. You have to move it.
Here's the problem, my friend. When the government, and this is what is happening, and a lot of people fail to see it, when the government has told the police to turn on the people, and then the people get fearful. So when the police come and say X and Y, in most times them comply, because again, some of them might know their rights, but them fearful. And a lot of them don't know their rights and they are fearful. So we have a country where I run under dictatorship, and you have illiterate Jamaicans bigging up the dictatorship, and them take the dictator and then put the dictator on a pedestal, and the dictator can't do nothing wrong for them. And this is where Jamaica is at today. And this is very sad.
And all because, and when you say unfranchised poor Jamaicans, you see, in law, if you don't correct your status, the they're gonna treat you according to what the paper is saying, according to how you identify. Because I'm telling you, you have some people in Jamaica, they're identifying as a national who have rights. And you have a next set of people in Jamaica is identifying as a citizen that have privilege. And ask yourself, where does privilege come from? Privilege is what comes from the government. No, right is something that you're born with. It is inherent, right? So you need to correct your status, because trust and believe, if you're going to court and ball say you have right till Jesus come, it is going to show on the paper that you do not have right, but you also have what you call privilege. And privilege can be taken away. And that is what is happening to these Jamaican citizens. Their privilege is being revoked. So you need to go and correct your status and activate your rights. And for people who think there is nobody out there helping, you have 876 LB, viceofjamaica.com, right? And this is all for free. So you don't have any excuse. Just like ignorance of the law is no excuse. You have no excuse to don't know what to do in time like this. There's people out there taking their time out of them day to make sure so you know. All you need to do is go and apply yourself to the information and go apply the information to your situation. Because tell you what, crying wolf won't stop the wolf from attack. The wolf is locked on to his target right now. Attack is imminent. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna just cry wolf, or you're gonna protect yourself, defend your rights, stand up for your rights. You have them, whether they are waived or not. It cannot be taken away by another man. It only can be waived. And the only person who can waive your right is you, as long as you're an adult. For minors, they are in the care of their parents. But when you reach the age of majority, or what they call consent, the responsibility is yours. So you have nobody to blame. And that's right.
People, can I say something?
You heard how much is the police quota for the day?
Mhm.
The police quota for the day is 10 million per day. So you know what that means, right? You don't have to do
rise. It's only going up.
Yeah,
And
you don't
people
have to
have
do
to understand, this police, this is why I say history never lies, you know. You see, the authority that they have given to the police now is the same authority that was given to the police in the 1980 when them did have what we used to call back in the days the eradication squad.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. There you go. It's the same thing that Andrew and his cronies has implemented today. And this is what is going on, and people need to know that this is what is taking place. And like the gentleman remote said, you have to know your rights and know where you stand when it comes to just having privileges, because he's very right when he said privileges are something that can be taken away. For example, my being in the United States as a naturalized citizen, that's a privilege. They can take it away anytime from me. It's not a right. It's not a right. So people need to understand these things. And it seems sadly, I don't know, it just, what I'm seeing is that, I don't know, where Jamaicans should realize them at a point now, it shouldn't be PMP or GLP, it should be about Jamaica now, because when you go to the hospital, the public hospital, them now ask you if you're PMP or GLP, them now go take you in because you're GLP or PMP first. When you go to the hospital, them you suffer as a Jamaican. When them not have no bed, you have to dip on the floor, them now ask you, are you a labourite or a PMP? If them not on a bed, you have to go up on the floor either way. So these are the things that Jamaicans need to get up and wake up and realize and understand right now. So now have a man we are lead, who has taken Jamaica back into the 1980s, back into the era of Edward Seaga, back into the era of destabilization, and it is worse now because once when it was just America per se, you have China now, you have Israel, you have Jesus. You have other forces. You have America. You have other forces that the leader of the country is working with. Jamaicans not own nothing anymore. Jamaicans aren't even allowed to go to their public beaches in peace. So and we can't believe when I still sit down and I talk about 1 p.m. and all of this foolishness. You don't realize where it take place?
So when we ask a question, I'm probably Aline can help with a question because we really want to know. So when the government come out and say they are losing the human capital to crime, is that an observation or is something that they are implementing? That is what I want to know. Because that is one of the things that they're mentioning that is actually true. But in the context that they're mentioning, it's not clear. Because it can be an observation or it can be something that they're implementing.
The question, I'm going to make Colin answer, but before him answer, the question should have been, why are we losing? Why is Jamaica losing Jamaicans to crime? And that's the problem right there. The system is set up. If you notice how the system is set up now, it is as if there's an order that the police is supposed to go out there and alive young black Jamaican men. Okay? I am seeing video after video on social media. I saw one today, a young man, he's selling some kids lunch, and he was draped up and handled the worst way by the police. And when other police officers was saying to the police officer who was mishandling him that, listen, you don't need to do this, and he's still mishandling the young man. People are standing up, and the policeman were mishandling him. I tell the people, them say, them not for video it and so, and the people them say, no, we are video it and so. And the poor man, when my misangle, don't even realize, say, that this is something where what the police is doing to him is wrong. So the owner says that the system set up now, that the police has been given the authority to brutalize and victimize and analyze young black men and then blame it on crime. So when them go talk, say, them losing the workforce to crime, what kind of crime? The crime of poverty, because that's the only crime. Because them not doing this to the people them from uptown. They're not doing this to the light-skinned Jamaicans. Them not doing it to the Issa them and the Matalan them. It's just poor black Jamaicans, them are do this too. What did the young man do wrong? Him not do nothing wrong. The kids, them are going to TST, go buy lunch. Him, they outside at TST. and he must sell them the liquor food. And instead of going to the young man and say whether you have a permit or whatever it is, or boss, you know, you can't sell this or something, what they did, just drape up the man and a man angle the man and a deal with the man away. And this is why I'm saying when they go talk about, they're using the word crime to put that in the head of the people to say when you hear say the police them shoot and analyze somebody, that person have to be a criminal, because what them a do, them a manipulate the mind of the people. So when you hear say, there you go.
Justify what they are doing.
Right. So when you hear say the police shoot 3 man in a 3 or 4 man in a 24-hour, right away you are gonna say them are most criminal.
So watch this now, because in that whole thing, you know, there's a lot of questions, you know. But one of the questions is, who is doing the crime to our people? That is the first question I would like to deal with. Because yes,
right there, the police, the system, the government.
So the government is letting you know what is going on, right? So we're losing people for real. But it not done this, so you the expert, you have all the resources. You not just leave the question hanging. Give us some real information. Tell we, based on data, who is taking out our human capital? Who is doing it? Don't just leave the question out there to make it seem like, oh, you're just a observer. You're just watching from the sideline. It's happening to you as well. You're being traumatized by this happening under your watch, because you're the government. But no, the state is a part of it, because in this same year that you put out, that we can see that extrajudicial analyzing is on the rise. So you're not abstract from it. You're not an innocent bystander. You have your hand in a cookie jar. And that is something. And when I tell you, say, they are telling you over and over what they're doing. They're just not speaking it in a language that you can understand clearly and upfront. They're actually telling the people what they're doing. And I'll go further. And this is where a lot of people now realize it is not being done by one of them. Because don't think for a second that they accept your son that is a police officer as one of them. They're not. They show you that in COVID. Remember what they did to the officers in COVID. While the elite could go in the fast food restaurant and have their lunch. Our brothers and sisters from our same disfranchised community could not, even though they were wearing the officer, even though they were wearing the uniform, even though they were on duty, even though they were protecting property, they could not enter that same property and have a lunch. So don't trick yourself in front of yourself and think, say, you as an officer is one of them. And you, mother, because we need to speak to you, mothers, you need to hold your son accountable before you ask the state to hold them accountable, because trust and believe, they will not. The officers are doing exactly what they're being told to do. It is for you, the mothers of these officers, to sit them down and say, when you destroy the only community that you have to live in, where will you live? When the shit hit the fan, where will you run to? When you're off duty, where will you rest your head? Because remember what happened in COVID. You could not eat at that same fast food establishment that you swear to protect. And that is what is showing that you will never be one of them, no matter how much you perform, no matter how good civil servant you become. That's what you will be to them, a civil servant. That's all you can ever be to them. So continue destroy your cousin from your same disenfranchised community, and think say when you're off duty, when you're ready to retire, when you're ready to take your vacation, you can go and rub shoulder with them. You're tricking yourself in front of yourself. And I think the people that we're supposed to point a finger to is you mothers in the communities. You are the one who is enabling all of this, because you are constant in dialogue with your sons and your daughters. You're not telling them where they're going wrong. You can't leave everything to an entity where you call the state. An entity don't have emotions like you, and have feelings, and have morality. It is an entity. Certain things you can't expect from it. And it's the same mothers enabling all of these crime we see go on, because them know who are do it. But they want somebody else to do feed them work. When you go talk to your son and your daughter, because they are self-destruct. Them think they might do it to we, but them actually do it to themselves as well. I'm learning this of you now.
You have a system, my brother. Let me explain this to you. When you have a system, back in my days as a child growing up in Jamaica, I grew up in that system where it tells you that an entire community takes care of the children. I grew up in a community where all the elderly men were grandpa and all the elderly women were grandma. A system where people look out for their children. Now we have women having children just because they know how to lay on their backs and get a man to go on top of them, get a man to impregnate them without considering if they're a good mother or if the man is a good father. So they don't know how to raise these children. So a lot of these children, the anger that is within them from young ages. And when they think about joining the police force, for example, they think of it as, okay, I will have a GUN and I will have power to do what I want to do because I am given that authority. So when them not have the mother, them not grow with no father, or if them grow with the father, they by the gate, you see my ring out him and them kind of things there. So they don't have that kind of instinct in them. So when them get that power now, and them come out there, and them address you as a boy, a girl, and you dare to even suggest to them who we are called boy or who you are called girl, is either you get a pie and then plant something for you or something. The mothers that should be bringing up, teaching these children love, these young people love, and all of these things, a lot of them are no longer there. A lot of them, when you see them, the mother them, the most expensive eyelash, the most expensive ear, the this and the that, and the child is left to raise himself. And so then become a product. And so he becomes a product of their environment, and then take that product from the environment into the police force with them. And what you have is authorized unalivers in uniform. So the society has changed, a lot has changed, and that is the problem, that is the problem that we are seeing. There is a kind of anger within the society now. It is anger within the people. It is anger in the forces that have been given the authority to judge the people, for want of a better word. Because basically that them do, judge you. And since they are the ones in the uniform and they are the ones with the authority, in their minds, whatever they are doing, it is right. And the only way we can change that system is when people wake up and look at themselves, look into themselves, and realize that as a people and as a nation, this is not how we should be. We need to get back to the days when mothers were there to nurture. We hardly have that anymore.
Yeah, because as Mayor, one of the people them on the TikTok, them say, every mother want to be friends with them kidney. They don't want to shape them daughter in a good woman. They want to shape the daughter in their best friend. So there's no accountable, there's nobody there to say to the daughter, no, this is not something that you should indulge in. This is wrong. You're not ready for this yet. They want to be their kids' best friend. They want to sit down and chat. They want to sit down and have adult conversation. That is not informative for the child. It's not even relevant.
And the other part of that is now we have that I never had in the days when I grew up.
To everyone for the panel.
Blessings. When I was growing up, one house in the community had a television set. One house, and children played outside. All right. We don't have that anymore. And now we have something called social media. And in a lot of these homes, it is social media that are raising these kids, If everywhere you go these days, if you look, it's either a kid, a child have a tablet in them hand, or them have a phone in them hand. Back in my days, my mother bought me books. You understand? So children now expand their mind in certain ways. They are growing from the nastiness where them sip on social media, and this is why a lot of parents need to start observing what their kids are doing on social media. For example, you have kids playing something you call Roblox, and within that Roblox, you have some things where you have some people who are influencing children, SEXUALLY, all right? But parents are not monitoring these gadgets because parents know them get busy, them do this and them do that, so them give the child anything to keep the child quiet. It's either video games or the internet or something. Children are not playing outside anymore where them go outside and expand their mind and learn how to climb a tree and all of them things there. So everything is going against, and as a black woman, I want to say right now, everything is stacked up against the black community. Because if you notice, what the other people them will do, when it comes to holidays and so, them and them kids gone on vacation together or whatever, and most times, if not, there's a father figure or whatever. But the black community is failing young black children. And until we can get to a point, whether we in Jamaica or wherever, where we begin to realize that they are the future, and we have to start mold the future, and we have to teach them what leadership looks like, so that when them say a leader like the one where I lead Jamaica now, and understand, say, him a dictator, and him a oppress the people them, they will understand and say, no, that is not what we want. That is not what we need. But if we don't give the young people the tools that they need to educate themselves out of this system, a system will tell them say they are less than, a system will tell them say them have to bleach them skin to be a part of the society. If we don't instill certain pride in our children, if we don't build our children, what we see is the thugs them were in a uniform as police. What we see are the young men on the street. Hey girl, come here. What we see are the young ladies on the street. Sell me 3 bottles of bleaching cream. And things like that.
Well, man, as a people, we lost a true family holiday, you know. So the youth them scattered all over the place just by, you know what I mean, what's going on the medias and, you know what I mean, what they've seen on this TV and all of these things, you know what I say. So parents not really raise them kids like how I and I raised by my mother and my father, you see, because there's certain thing where I couldn't do as a youth, you know. So the thing just reach to a level where, but I say the parents them come like them have less time spending around the kids them right now. So the kids them just out there do them own thing. You know what I mean? I just say a social media and them things that raise the youth them. So them lost a true respect there and a true value there. You know themselves, get me I say.
Exactly, my friend. Exactly, and that's where the problem begin. That's where the problem begin. And when you see young people today, and you know, as black people, what we don't do is a lot of black parents, so they don't instill black pride into their children. They don't let their children know that, listen, you are from the lineage of kings and queens. You are royalty.
Yeah.
So you must behave like royalty. When I see my young black brothers and sisters too, I walk around with them pants below them waist and all of these things and what's up my nigga and all of them things, it grieves me.
Yeah, lost the value, you know.
There you go. So that's where all the trouble is, because that's how the system is stacked against us. Go ahead, my friend. Sorry, yeah.
Let me say something to you. You notice from they pick up this foreign style that you cannot school your kids anymore. Teacher cannot even speak to the kids them in school. From there, that is where the breakdown start from. I'm telling you.
Same so, Sammy. Same so.
That is where the breakdown started. You cannot speak to your kids anymore. Oh, I'm going to report you to the police. I'm going to report you to the teacher. Can't even talk to them. You know how much beating me get from teacher at school? It make me live huge now. You know how much beating me get from teacher at school?
True.
Yes, that's why
I never understood the value of that upbringing until we got older. Because
Exactly
you see all the good old-time grandmother them, you know what is the problem? Them people that dead and gone, you know. You see the old-time grandmother and grandfather them with value. The teachers. There you go, because I grew up, I'm my mother's only child, but I never grew with my father. I'm a grandmother, my mother was the breadwinner. So I pretty much grew with my grandmother when mommy gone to work, right? And my grandmother never make fun for and I used to say, boy, someplace I want to go. I said, no, you're not going anywhere. I mean, I said, boy, I can't wait to get big to do my own thing. And now that I am an adult and I look back, I wish that I could go back to those days.
Yeah.
Understand? Them values are not there again.
What happened now? You have the mother the daughter and the grandpit they drink out of one flask right now.
There you go.
You know,
When you have singers like Cynthia Slasher, Marcia Griffiths, and them people, women with talent that when them go up on a stage and sing, them touch your heart. Now we have women a skin out, women them breasts out a door, this and that out a door, them a sing about them front, jumping on my front and do this and that. When did we become so low?
Yeah, that type of people there. Right now.
There you go. And society has accepted these kind of things, and that's the problem.
Me see on one church rent a particular DJ, rented a person the church to go in the church and video, do a music video. It is so disgraceful and appalling. That pastor should it should go right in front of a flying squad. The person that person who pastored that church. They are the devil themselves. The same people talk about their pastors. They are the devil themselves.
So we never understand what church and state mean.
One body them, you know.
The church is the law, and the state control commerce. That's how they work. One deal with the law. So when you're going to court, I see the Bible. Yeah. Just know say at the church or the law. The state is on the money. They work together. So that is why right after JPS get for them aid.
Yeah.
Who next? Who next? Yes, the state. Take care.
I think the church get a lot of money to clean up the church.
Oh. Yeah, man, them on the man, no matter the thing is, you know, don't you always when you sit there say, don't do what me say, do what me do. So sometimes you listen what the state say, just watch them do. You listen what pastor say, what your church all about. Look on the history, what them do from 19 or long to now. What have look on? Because trust and believe, them have some very sweet words.
Yes.
Lacking in action. People have to watch what's going over the world. One of the biggest protests the world ever sees, the yellow vest in France. What caused that protest? One of the big church in France burned down. And the man then built it back more grander than what it was before. When them hear how much money just regular member in the church donate, the people in France couldn't believe that the church had so much money. And it caused the biggest surprise. Called yellow goat, so they can go look it up. It caused by them can't believe say the church have so much poor people, so much homeless surrounding all like church in France. And the church feed them for millions.
Big business, you know, them operate.
That upset the French people. But go and check. Silicon Valley in America don't make more money than the church at any time. Them tell you what the church make every year. They beat Silicon Valley every year. The church is not giving to the poor as what they preach. They're actually taking from the poor. And I will say, I believe in the Bible. But what I don't believe in is this money in the church. They not do nothing when I Bible. Not one.
But the people not watching that, you know, because and that's why I don't go to church. Because the Bible said, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So why am I going to get up and go to a building and sit in a building, and outside the building that I'm sitting in, people are hungry, people are homeless, but no one inside that building is helping them. So what kind of light me are going out of the building they go show?
Exactly. All right. That is it. Just as simple as that, you know.
Okay.
Your eye won't fool you. Just trust your own vision. We have to listen to everybody when Dina Pastor tell about this and one mega story. It said, even the Bible says, study to show thyself the proof. It's not about what people say. It's about what you can prove. Can you prove, say this actually working? If it is yes, continue. And if it's no, end it. It's a lost cause.
Good night, my people.
I grew up in a community where I have, let me see, almost six or seven different churches or 6 or 7 different denominations. And I went to all of them. Because back in the days, those little churches were churches, if you go to those churches and you go one Sunday and you know go back the next Sunday, trust and believe that after church, they might come at your house, come find out if you're all right. Back in the days, those little churches, you hear say Miss Mary down the road sick, or Mr. John up the road sick. Trust and believe the church members and the church sisters and brothers are going to pack some food, some whatever, and they are going to sit and talk with Miss Mary. If Miss Mary need a bath, the church sisters are going to bathe Miss Mary. If Mr. John used to go a bush, and him can't go a bush because something wrong with him foot or hand, you have 1 or 2 church brother who volunteer to go either dig the yam or plant the cocoa for him. We don't have that anymore. What we have now is the big churches where when you go, them give a fake shake hand and them have the words of the song on the monitor and you sing off of the monitor, and when church over, them give a fake shake hand. And nobody now asks how you getting home, X, Y, and Z. So everything has changed.
Don't forget the collection place.
Exactly. But you see, back in the days, when the little church them collect a little money, I know them either put that money in the basic school, or them put it in the little church building, or them have a fund where them have, and that little fund is for when people sick or so, you know, and you need for buy little things or them little things there.
Yeah, or a sister or a brother in a situation.
There you go. We don't have that anymore.
No. All of this money after the pastors.
There you go.
If you now with $100 one time, I have $10. The pastor will share you. I say, how dare you?
Sure.
Come with $10 when you know. The scriptures say you must give 110. And you come with
But you don't know how much a person that earns. I don't know if the 110 of that person earning that.
No, you used to can't give 100, you know. And if not every no shape or form, you can maintain that.
God no want no money. God no want no money. So I lie them and tell right that's all.
Boy, as you talk about the church and the money, you know, remember, you know, they have one scripture, you know, Malachi. I don't remember Malachi, which them always use to put you in guilt. How can a man rob God? I tired to hear it in the church. How can a man rob God? Here they are the little one them up top now. In tithes and offering. So I said to myself, but God, how can you rob God? You rob God when you not serve him in spirit and in truth. And so you rob him because that's why he put we here to serve him. And when we are not serving him, that's the time we are robbing him.
Yes. Not
That
monetarily.
is why I believe, brother, he put us here to serve him. That's what God put us here for.
Yeah,
To serve him.
facts, bro.
Right? And when we are not serving him and serving the devil, that is the time we are robbing God.
Facts.
So me no believing in this tithes and offering. Well, the tithes. No, we get offering, to be honest. No, we get offering. Because you know the little light bill have to pay, them have to clean the church. Them, you know the church, some of the church them look nice and clean. And
I pay my tithes and offering every day. Even to them, I go down the road, go watch my lunch, you know, my lunch. I say, a man, 1 foot in half. I want to give my $5, I mean, I've seen him beg me one. It's a Mexican bread, I give 5 of that. Me have.
But what the Bible tell us, say, don't the Bible tell us, say, a nation that forgets God will perish?
Sure.
So now that verse, you know, compare and godly people we have around the country, you know. Because you
Yes,
can't
ma'am.
say you have God in your heart and you deal with the poor people them the way you deal with them because you look for become a millionaire off of the backs of the poor people. And these people fail to realize that. So
look here, we see these people the other day. These are the young people because they are the problem in Jamaica too. These are vipers, the generation of vipers. They are the problem in Jamaica too. I noticed the other day they're saying that them no want no white man run their country. So them now vote for Mark Golden. And then when you look at it, everybody want to run away to US, Canada, England, Germany, France, all over the globe. Right?
White man place.
Hold on. That's exactly what we get into.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we get into. A black man around them country there or a white man. And if you notice,
Them are hearing me. You all hearing me?
and if you notice, my brother, yes, madam, we're hearing about boss lady. And if you notice, my brother, check
Yeah,
out
my
all
Wi-Fi
the
dropped on. I
countries.
didn't know me there for hours.
Check out all the countries where your white man run. Canada, England.
under 1 minute, Sammy. Well, under 1 minute. Boss lady, you leaving?
Things is a Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Sorry, Sammy. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. No, check out all the countries that the white men are running. Canada, England, America, France, Germany, Russia, even China. Call them look like white people. Tell me something. You don't notice all the countries the white men are run there prosperous and progressive?
Yes.
Check out the few little country where black man running and see what is happening.
The best black place for me running right now is Burkina Faso.
Is Burkina Faso
Yeah,
best
I'm
one,
sorry.
the only one, and that's why your prime minister out there was against that man,
Yes.
was against Sherry, was against him.
No, man, you have no Vivian to you. You have be a woman on it too.
Well,
Hold a second. If you're trying to say white people, it is because of color. Why these countries are being run that way? We're going down the wrong road.
no, we're not talking about
You
that
must
color.
say, you must
We're
say,
just drawing a reference. If you're listening, we're drawing a reference. You're referring to.
the Jamaican people have said them no want no white man for run for them place. But they end up run come at some other place where a white man are running.
Well, but who said the Jamaican people say that? Who said that?
A lot of people say that. Me hear a lot of
They
people
said that in the election the other day. They said it in the election that they don't want no white man to rule them.
Hold on. That's short though. Now the question asks. You answer who say no. So now the next question I'm going to ask you. How much say it?
You can't say how much that, bro. That isn't possible.
How we going to know how much say it?
Yeah.
All right, right? So what you say now? Well, I know. May I try to make the point? Well, I know. So if you can't tell me how much say it,
Majority
that
are
means
labor right there
you
say
can't
it
even
and
tell
then
me
no.
if it is a
Majority
civil
are
government.
labor.
They say it and then no. Majority are labor.
Yes, man, they said it. The Labour right said they don't want no white man to run the country.
Majority of Labour right voted for a Labour Party. Them only amount to 15%. Because a third, I said, sorry, give them 16%. A 39% of people turn out to the polls. And the 39 share between JLP and PNP. So I want you to know that they are still the minority. You have 70% still left. So when you say,
Let me say something. That's really beside the point.
Well, we are just telling you what was said, right? We don't care who much one said, but we only said what was said. That's
Hold
what
on,
was
guys.
the
Hold on,
topic.
let me say
so let me hear
something.
your point,
It doesn't matter who said it. The fact is that it was said. And that is the
Exactly.
problem. When people don't know what they are voting for or why they vote, then they put colorism into it. It should never be, because if we want to talk about a white man leading Jamaica, there was a white man named Siaga that demolished and destabilized Jamaica, that is responsible for the genocide of hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans. So when people come with the argument that them can't make a white man, which they were referring to Mark Bolin, run the country, that was an argument of stupidity. What they needed to do was to look at the policies that he was coming with. And that was what
Exactly.
would have mattered. But because them don't know why them vote or what them a vote for, therein ended the illiterate argument. And these are the same people today, even while they are suffering, are the ones saying 1 p.m. fourth term loading.
But you notice how they're quiet now. They're not saying it. I don't hear it again.
No man, them a say it still, man, especially on social media.
But 1998, is a white man, Rene Simons, him bring Jamaica to the World Cup. Don't forget that.
It's difficult to get a talk on this platform.
No man, we don't want to talk, man. That's one of our hand, bro.
I know me go to that.
Michelle Wang them club up me I go leave you know, but before me leave I would like to say some things. Still me not cut for this politics thing, but I saw my neighbor crying. So there was a plane crash here 2 days ago, what killed 10 Bahamians. So I'm asking all guys to pray for us at this time also. Last week on my birthday, we lost 5 young Bahamians, 18 years old and under. So we're under a little tension right now. So I'm asking you all guys to pray for us.
Okay, my sister.
Condolences, sister. Condolences.
Yeah, man, because I have an in-law who gone down in it as well too. So it's a really sad time for everyone through this little ghetto area here. So you all pray for us, guys.
We will, my sister. Bless up yourself, and thanks for being here. And it was really nice talking with you, you know? And getting to share stuff with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my love.
All right, thank you. Bless her.
Okay, Marcy, big up your
Yeah, brother, come through now, man. You say you want that talk.
Yeah, it was about the concern where the labor. I remember now, you know, they were fed a diet, and that was one of their talking points. Remember, you know, the Labour Party tell them and feed them that misinformation. Them taking it from slavery, so them trying to tell the people that Mark Golden go and enslave them. So it was really about illiteracy and the Labour Party trying to use that talking point to get the illiterate to vote and to not think for themselves. So we can't even blame them in terms of, because they never even think about that or believe that until the Labour Party fool them and tell them the nonsense there. As it relates to Africa, you have to remember where Africa was and where Africa is coming from. So we're talking about black people and black leaders. Remember, you know, Africa, the birth of civilization, you know, there's a civilization born, you know. Education and all of them things that come from Africa, you know. And all of a sudden one day, 11 leaders from all over the world carve up Africa, rape Africa, enslave people in Africa. So Africa is at a place now where them can't revive fully yet from all of that. So when you say African countries in a these sort of situations, don't blame it on black leaders. Blame it on the white leaders that rape the continent. And left us in shambles. So
One of the best leader.
no, you're talking about priority, but what may I say is don't carry this narrative that black people.
Hold on, my friend. Come I'm gonna correct you right now. So,
Michael Manley.
me correct him right there, so.
Yeah.
This is why I say history is important. It was black Africans who sold lesser black Africans to the white man for guns and ammunition to fight a tribal war that exists in Africa up to today. As a matter of fact, the leaders of Benin at a conference in America that they attended, they apologized to black people all over the world for the role that Africans themselves played in the slave trade. All right? So let us not say, when we're going to give history, and this is what is happening with black people today, that tribal thing has been in us, passed down to us from our ancestors. And this is why you have black Jamaicans, we say, and people from, for example, Trinidad, we say them not get along, and all these things, where you have black people in America right now who consider themselves African Americans, who are saying that America need to get rid of Jamaicans and Haitians and Africans because they are indigenous to Africa. So when we want to give the truth, we have to give the truth as it is. The white man never got into Africa and shoot down black people and take them. Black slavery was taking place in Africa long before the white man went there, because the stronger Africans would enslave the weaker Africans. And when the white man landed on the shores of Africa, they sold the weaker black people that they had captured to the white man for guns and ammunitions to continue fighting a tribal war that still exists till today. So let me get that out of the way.
You have to understand, you know. It's not every skin folk is skin folk, you know. And every black man, when it's a black man, say black man and I say go, because the Arab them skin black.
No, but hold on, let me hear what you say.
The Arab them black. The Arab skin them black, but them are African, two different people them. Even white.
Michelle. When Africans were selling Africans, even before that, Africa was divided into tribes, and the people had their own boundaries and borders.
I know that. That is why I said to you, there was a tribal war that exists in Africa up until today.
Let me explain to you how this tribal war come about. Yes,
all right, go ahead.
When Africa was divided, it was carved up by 11 different nations. They didn't matter the boundaries that were there before. They carved and made their own boundaries. So people who were actually warring against each other ended up in where there were boundaries, where it caused a lot of upheaval and all of that. The destruction of Africa started then when they were taken over by France, Spain, Belgium, all of these.
It was King Leopold first who did that. And I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a lot of black people who don't know that under King Leopold from Belgium, more Africans were unalived than the Jews that were unalived in the Holocaust, because they don't teach you that in school. They don't teach you.
Give me a point to order this. Skill, big up yourself. Hold on. Skill, big up yourself.
Finish what I was saying to her first now.
Hold on, please. Skill.
Yo.
Big up yourself, sir. for me what you a while ago.
You're good, man. You're good. No disrespect.
Continue to say what you just are going to say. Make skill talk, then TC can go on.
Yeah, you understand, say, no, the Arab slave trade was the first trade, slavery, you know. Arab slave trade was the first slavery, was before white people. And you also understand, say, is not because somebody's skin black means that I'm African. You have white Caucasian too. So when they say black people, so when they say black people, I sell black people, Africans I sell African, you must be careful what you're saying. Because they look like you, but they're not you. Because how could you feel if you know you have a brother and sell a brother? No, that's not a gossip.
No skill. Skill, let me explain this to you. The history is there. The leaders of Benin at a conference here in the United States actually apologized for the role that Africa played in the transatlantic.
Yes, I heard you.
But I understand what you are saying because I know you are.
Even Ghana, when they tell them to repatriate them say them sorry. Even in Ghana, when they tell them to come back, they tell them sorry for the slave trade and all that. But listen, a lot of them will say them sorry. A lot of them are no African.
No, but these leaders of Benin are Africans. Those leaders of Benin.
No, it's a difference, you know. There's a difference, you know. There's a difference. If you know, at one point, you know, a black people, a melanated people around the world, you know. But everybody wasn't the same.
Yes,
that's why you have the Moors. That's why you have the Moors. The Moors is the ones that who did live more in that.
I know all of that, my friend. I know all of that. I know all of that, Peter. Yes, so all of that. But what I was getting at,
Can I get a point tonight?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we always do this, and remember, so we are trying to come out of the confusion. We want to set the record straight. So, based on study, when you have tribe, there was no tribe identifying as black people. That was
I know that.
Right? So in the time when you have tribe, there was nobody calling themselves black people. So those two came. Then the next thing now, when you have tribe again, they were not identifying as no African. That's a white man, a white general name, Africano. So if you mix all of them three together, it a mix of different timeline. Because when you have Africano, a general, you fight for the European army, and then name the land after himself. Name the land after No, let me finish. So no tribe there African. That's the first thing. That wasn't the name of the land. Right? So to say we are all African, members of the tribe they never identify as one.
Yeah, I know all of that, my friend. But what I was getting at, what I was trying to get at is that this tribal instinct that has always been there is the same tribal instinct that is dividing us up till today. And that is why I even brought up the issue with the people here in America who call themselves African Americans, where they are now saying there's a group of them who call themselves FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and their argument is Jamaicans, Haitians, Africans do not belong in America, and that they are the indigenous people of America, and that we should go back to our country. So why I even mentioned what I mentioned was to mention this vast divide that is between us with the same shade of skin color, where we should be uplifting each other. Instead, we are degrading each other and bringing down each other. And Jamaicans, it's the same thing. Jamaica has a political divide. And the divide it can be called tribal too because it's the divide between the PNP and the GLP, and nobody not saying, okay, let us stand for Jamaica as Jamaicans. So that was basically me that try get that, my friend.
But because Andrew Wallace is not African, you know. Andrew Wallace a European. He only look black, but he's a European. A Caucasian, that's not look man. Black Caucasian. You ever hear about the black Caucasians yet?
So
You ever hear about the Vikings? You ever hear about the Vikings? You ever hear about the Vikings?
Caucasian and European are the same.
Yeah.
So you say the Moors them run the world. So the Moors them are the
But I wouldn't start get conquer from and who you think they help conquer with.
well, I must ask me.
I wouldn't consider Andrew Wallace as a Caucasian because his father is black and his mother is.
You can look on the skin shade and just tell us all black all skin folk.
Alright, well, make me look on it.
Skill, remote heal, back to TC, make TC and Michelle go and raise it then in the fall in back.
Yeah, make TC.
Thank you.
TC that says something. Let me listen.
Alright. I started my argument based on the fact that somebody was saying that all the countries that were led by white people are successful and those that were led by black people were not successful. I was trying to make the point that you have to judge the African continent based on what actually happened to them. During slavery, there was, we could still call it Africa, the African continent, that had different tribes. They had their own borders, they had their own tribes, they had their own culture, they had all of that. During slavery, when slavery came about, all that happened was that tribes who were always fighting against tribe would capture their enemies and sell them and all of that. That did not disturb Africa in terms of its geographical borders, its tribes and all of that. Africa was always a strong place. In 1884 and 1885, when you had the Berlin Conference, that is when Europe was when Africa was divided. 11 European nations came together and they divided Africa. They drew their own borders and raped Africa. That is when Africa became poor and destitute and then lost their way in terms of because different countries exploited them and all of that.
Excuse me, family, excuse me. I said, club and the whole family, I jump in the car, I take care of the things. So big up on yourself, for your fun.
Bless up, Brighton, bless up.
After 18,
One thing, enough love.
Yeah, me channel.
after 1885, Africa was no longer Africa. And then currently, and a little before this time, when African leaders were, even when you had African leaders leading these countries, they were just puppets. They were puppets put there by these leaders, these countries that divided Africa. So we eventually became poor, and that is why we have Africa, where it seems as if black leaders were not as good as white leaders. It was simply because there was no unity there. They were being exploited, they were poor. Most of these countries, even now, can't stand on their own 2 feet. So it's not a result of being black. It was a result of Africa being exploited by the Europeans. The European countries didn't go through what Africa went through. So,
I'm going to cut you now, but Africa never did poor, no. Africa never did poor. All of Africa riches was rob and take away.
Listen to me. I never said that. Africa is currently still the richest continent on the earth.
So when it's poor, they use the word poor, them poor,
What I am saying to you, the different countries, they had no control over their own wealth, but they had black leaders. So remember France take all of the gold. France not have gold. all the gold that they have in their treasury came from Africa.
Yes, yes, because
Still, you have to make the man land. All if a fuckery matter, make him man land. Michelle, I'm gonna reply, bro. I tell you, man.
all right.
Remember, the point I was trying to bring across is why African leaders had difficulty running their own country when they weren't actually running their country. They were puppets put there, and Africa was always being exploited. So I didn't just want anybody to start saying it's the African leaders that mash down Africa and all of that. So that's the point I was trying to make. So Michelle, you can respond.
And I agree with you. I agree with you on that, TC, because me now look at Andrew Holness right now as no Caucasian. Me I look on him as a Jamaican, as a black man, and he's in charge of leading the country, but he's just a puppet on a string, bowing down to his puppet masters like the US, for example, because when we look at, for example, now this argument that we've been having for weeks about the TCN deportees, and we understand what is taking place, we begin to understand why Andrew and the powers that be assigned to this is to protect themselves. It's not really about in the best interest of Jamaica and Jamaicans. So, and that I will agree with you that a lot of these black countries are being ruled by slave masters, and they become slaves to those slave masters. And when we look at when we look at Jamaica right now, and we look at what is happening, we understand that it is so true now more than ever. It was true under Seaga. The destabilization of Jamaica happened under Seaga because Seaga was controlled by America. And it has never been where Michael Manley, who had a vision for America, for Jamaica, where Jamaica would have been a first world country today. They use the word communism to victimize him and make a mockery of him. And that is still happening today, because when we check the thing for real, when we look at what is taking place into Jamaica, Jamaicans don't own anything. Nothing in Jamaica belongs to Jamaicans. Jamaicans can't even go to their own public beach. And it is speaking volumes who is in control. And when we have a leader that cannot look out for the good and the good and what is best for the people, then what we have is what we see happening now, and it's not going to get any better because a lot of Jamaicans fail to realize what is taking place because they not understand why them vote and where them vote for, and they still have not realized that Andrew Holness is a puppet in the bigger scheme of things, and where they stand, where the poor and disenfranchised Jamaicans now stand in the whole picture, they are nobodies. And I think it is time for them to wake up and realize what is happening. When I'm hearing, for example, what is happening with the new traffic laws and all of that stuff, it speaks volumes where the country is, who is in control, because the system is set up to collect X billions of dollars. The onus is to collect the X billions of dollars from the poor people who have their vehicles. Now people can eat in them vehicles, them can't do this, them can't do that, and that is where the system is. And if Jamaicans don't wake up and realize that this system is a system that is holding them down, is a system that is not for them, then it will continue to be the way it is. I was very shocked when I heard one night where a former ambassador for Jamaica was saying on a program that Jamaica is also signatory with America and Canada in a deal to house nuclear weapons. And I am asking myself, what other deals has this government placed Jamaicans in that Jamaicans are not aware of? I know there's a deal with Israel, and Andrew Holness refuses to even tell the opposition what that deal is because he says it's top secret. And where Jamaica and Jamaicans stand right now, all we need to wake up and realize where it take place. That's basically what I did want to say, TC.
So my question now, you have a vote take place at the UN where all the countries, they wanted to admit that slavery was one of the worst things happening to humanity, right? And lo and behold, 3 countries vote to say no, slavery was not that bad. Do anyone know who those 3 countries?
I do. Yes, I want to hear who it is. I think Israel might be in it.
Israel, America, Argentina. Israel, America, and Argentina. So you must ask yourself, say, why remote I bring up that now? So Jamaicans, some Jamaicans say them are victim to slavery because some don't believe in the word slavery, which is fair. But only our prime minister went to one of those countries that vote to say that slavery was actually not so bad. What you all think of that?
And that country is Israel, right?
Colonial. That's why I know this man is a Caucasian.
One true skill.
That's why I know this man is a Caucasian. Because I seem to forget. We come from a state where there was a classism, you know. If you're white, you're right, and if you're brown, you stick around, and if you're black, you stay at the back. Signifies something. Remember, say that talk on the point, you know. So if hold up now. So if you understand, some people get pumped up because of their color, you know. Some people get pumped up because they might hold a big job. Some people get pumped up. Some people, you know, they have power problem. So listen, you see any African country, all the leaders they will stand up for run Africa right, get executed. So all who did in them no black rider. In terms, well, we're not really black still enough because we are copper, but just to use relation terms, you know, people can relate to, so we use them words there. But yeah, but and everybody wanna say look like uno mean uno. That's what we not get. Because even through slavery, a dark skinned man come kick dark skinned man, and then them tell us they're African, them are not African. No, skill, what we are talking about is that it's not based upon whether I'm African or not. We are talking about based upon
It doesn't make your point clear. It might make your point clear. Me understand what you must say, yeah.
No, but what I say no, that is where we're not talking about. We are talking about the fact that him is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. I don't care if he's a Caucasian or if he's African. What I'm talking about is that the country that votes to say we don't forget reparation, him and that country leader is buddies. So I am saying it seems like him agree that Jamaica not supposed to get reparation. And we all think about that. We don't care if I'm Caucasian, if I'm African. Him is the Prime Minister. That is the thing that we're supposed to care about, because if he was an African man or a Caucasian man, it wouldn't matter to me.
But because him are the prime minister, that is why me have mentioned him. So me don't care for my Caucasian.
Promote, I wouldn't agree with you on that.
Remember, so we just talk about history from right
Remember, so we just talk about history from right back up, you know.
I'm bad in the same place.
Let me address that issue because
Good and bad, sir. Good and bad no work together, no brother.
Yeah, he is still.
can I respond?
Yeah, he'll still. One TC, my queries. Yeah, we'll continue.
Remember, Wallace actually visited Israel before that vote was taken. So we can equate that because he went and kissed the wall before that vote was taken. And we know why these three countries voted along that line. But another point I want to make is
You see another visit me talk about said them a friend. It's not the visit me talk about. Me talk about whether them agree with him friend or not.
yeah, but remember, you know, is you talk about geopolitics and relationships, you know. So you may find that you may go to a country and you're going to deal with a specific interest. So remember, in Siaga time, we go deal with Israel to get they call the spring plains. Remember spring plains with the
Join alliance with the Israeli mobster named Eli Tisona for Eli Tisona to manage Spring Plains.
Me not deal with the elitist one part of it. I'm talking about making alliances with country. Cause we know about this one, I think. We know say I dropped into that smuggle. The point I may try and make is that you may go to a country to go get technology from them and whatever. So it don't necessarily mean that you agree with them, but at the same time, you know, it may be commerce, it may be development.
So what about the next vote? You make the argument to say it not necessarily means them agree with him, but a next vote takes place where our Prime Minister out of the whole region, the whole Caribbean, is the only Prime Minister did not vote on the matter. So me ask you again, do this man agree with his friend? Are their interests aligned? Are they saying, both of them, that slavery was not the worst thing to humanity?
Which vote was that? You're talking about the same.
Acknowledging Palestine as a state. The Prime Minister did not vote.
Run it by me again. And what vote? Which one was it?
Alright, so there was a vote to acknowledge Palestine as a state. I think America vote no. I don't remember if Argentina to again. And Israel. And the only country in the Caribbean that did not let their voice be heard was Jamaica. And right after he leave that vote, that was when he went to the wall. Right after he left the UN, he go to the wall. Right after that vote took place.
Yeah, but
so I ask again, is he agreeing that slavery is not the worst? Alright, let's not say the word.
You can't equate both of them.
I'm not equating, I'm asking a question. I'm not making a statement, I'm asking a question.
And I'm going to answer you this way because I'm trying not to be as biased any time. You see the order of when this happened. So if you're going to say there was a vote as to whether Palestine should be a state, and he abstained, I would have beat him for that. But you see, if him got to the wall after that, he must show him. After that point now, there is a vote that is taken. Three countries voted against it. and Jamaica wasn't one of them. You can't beat him for that. So I'm not going to beat him for that still. You may have him.
No, so you're saying they're not aligned. That's what you're saying, bro.
What is not aligned? No, I wouldn't align both of them.
Their foreign policy. You're saying our foreign policy is not aligned with Israel.
It might be, but when you tie it with the vote against the slavery being the worst thing that happened in our humanity, I wouldn't tie him to that because I'm going to go Israel before. So if you had voted for Jamaica and said them, it wasn't.
So what would you say if you find out that Israel is going to design a system to control our voting system? What would you say then?
You're making a lie. Listen, I'm
making my case, you know. You is to challenge it. Israel is going to control the next election in Jamaica. Did you know that?
But my friend, they already controlled the election that was the last election that happened in Jamaica. And I completely get what you are saying. The fact that Andrew Holness, because even before what was said about slavery, people knew that Israelis don't like Negroes, right? So knowing that, the very mere fact that he had already aligned himself with this country, him go and him kiss the wall. Not only that, he promised Benjamin Netanyahu that he would give asylum to over 300 Jews that were in Jamaica illegally, right? When he came back from Israel, because that happened in 2017, when he came back from Israel, and there was the argument about him signing a deal with Netanyahu. When the People's National Party questioned him in Parliament about what kind of deal he signed and what was the deal, he told them that it was top secret. And up until this day, nobody knows what that deal is, because he told members of the opposition that that deal that he signed with Benjamin Netanyahu was top secret. And that deal was for the was for them to use their high tech, whatever you might call it, to interfere in our elections.
Michelle, you can't say that.
No, you can't tell me that I can't say it. It's a fact.
Breaching our right to privacy with Watch Jamaica. Because a lot of people don't realize that Watch Jamaica is a breach to their privacy.
Listen, if you're going to say that it is top secret, but you have the information, it makes no logical sense.
No, I don't have all the information. You're not listening to understand what I am saying.
You said it was top secret and the people.
Again, let me repeat what I said. Part of what we know, let me rephrase what I say, part of what has become clear to the people of Jamaica is that Andrew Holness had negotiated with Israel to use whatever technology them have to interfere in our them spy technology, whatever it is, to interfere in our political, whatever you might call it. However, what else he might have assigned to with Israel, he has not made anybody know about it, because he told the opposition that it is top secret. So while we are aware that Israeli technologies in Jamaica, that is because that was something that was made public.
Right. Good night, panel. Good night, Michelle.
Bless up, head boy.
Good. You know, you're onto something, and I want people to understand what you're saying. The Israelis have what is called Pegasus. Yes? And I want, after the return trip, after they went to Israel, by the way, Horace Strong didn't get to go. Yeah? When they returned from Israel, it was just on the eve of the general elections of 2020. Yeah? When they returned and refused to say to the parliament what they signed. Remember what happened? And people need to remember that the pandemic came about, or the pandemic, whatever you want to call it. They were able to now locate people within instantaneously of them going on the social media and telling the PM SYM. Now, it is only logical for you to deduce that there is some amount of spyware that is being used in the country, and the only spyware that has that capability is the spyware that Israel is used against the people of Gaza and Lebanon. And that spyware is called Pegasus. When they were talking about the eye of Jamaica or the Jamaica eye, yes, you realize, oh no, they can't fulfill Jamaica eye fully because they've already started the implementation on the traffic cams. So on the traffic lights, yeah?
You need to narrow it down so they can understand. When you say Pegasus, they won't have a clue what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm not talking about Pegasus, the hotel.
Pegasus is a
Make people know, man. Explain.
military surveillance system. High-tech military surveillance system.
You're correct. That has geofencing and geolocating. So it goes by your phone. In fact, with Pegasus, what they can do, for example, we're on this TikTok live now. If Pegasus is being used in a manner, they can actually tell exactly, and that is why they keep on saying, we know where you are. Nothing is a secret. Nothing is hidden. Because Pegasus has the capabilities of letting them track your VPN, track your IP, not your VPN, track your, what we call it again? I'm not an IT guy, no, but they track your data. They can use the internet thing that you use to track exactly where you are.
Your IP address.
Internet protocol address, and track exactly where you are.
IP address.
IP address.
IP address.
IP address. Right. Thank you, Clever. That's exactly what they have been using, and we know for a fact that it has been used in Jamaica because that's how Stephen McGregor was, and when he was a police officer, was able to go take the man from under in bed. The same thing happened in Monique with the crazy youth who tell Andrew SYM. And so we know for a fact that this is being used in Jamaica. And imagine, he has never one day said to the parliament what it was for. We also know that Israel signed a deal with the EOJ for the implementation of the voter electronification system, which they used, which was tested in 2025 in the election. Never worked yet.
Head boy. I have certain information about that thing, and I make sure send message to Dayton and Mark Golden. You hear these guys are saying that they're not letting up Jamaica or letting up the PNP take over Jamaica. Let me tell you this, my brother. If Mark Golden cannot do anything about the use of that electoral machinery that
never win again.
Israel made for them, PNP will never see Jamaica house again.
That's
that
why
is the same thing they're doing in Africa to you. They're doing it in Africa to you.
They cannot do anything. What it is beyond them is only the people alone can stop them now. It's only we have the power to stop them. No party can stop them. Not even the JLP can stop them. If you know what I mean. If you know what as far as that.
But remote and Brother Sammy, what we should look at is we have the power. By the way, under the ROPA, you as a voter have the power to say you refuse to use an electronic system. You can. Because let me tell you why. This system has not been made. It has not been gazetted, well, not gazetted, but it has not been enshrined in the ROPA, the Representation of the People's Act, to say that you don't have the option of choosing which one, right? So, in fact, when you looked at what happened in some electoral, in some constituencies, let's use a constituency, for example, I don't want to use a controversial one, the Prime Minister one, so let's use Southwest Central Elizabeth. In Southwest Central Elizabeth, people went in some polling stations to vote and couldn't vote because there was no electricity present and the electronic voter system that they had there was not working, right? But you're supposed to have the black book and you're supposed to have regular ballots available. So we must insist that if we're going to participate in the democratic process, we're not going to be voting electronically. Because let me tell you something, the electronic system, it has never worked in Jamaica. It has never worked. It always have its glitches. And the EOJ know every time they try to attempt to implement it, it has always created problems. In fact, everywhere it was used, voting was delayed by at least 2 to 3 hours.
But I must ask, so what's Starlink, you know? We don't know Starlink, you know, for what, you know.
Starlink is not safe, and Daryl Vaz is the distributor of Starlink. He's the only man in the Caribbean who has the license for it.
So this is why I know, say, the people that want to talk about on Starlink, they link together, you know. They don't separate, they link together, our data, them can collect and control them alone. So you know that.
That is why most countries now refuse to have Starlink operate in their country.
So people don't know, say, a Starlink did a spy on Iran.
Yeah, and yes, Iran find a way to block them.
Yeah, because Russia give them for them internet and say, they use that, brother, that's not safe.
And China have something that helped them. And that's why when I hear people cussing China, yeah? Sometimes I say, no, I mean, China have its faults, but there's one thing there's certain. When it come on to dealing with spying and stopping being spied on, China can help us in that regard. Yeah?
Well, so right now, that is one of the problems right now, you know, because if Jamaica continue to deal with China, China have their own separate system, you know.
Yeah, man.
And America don't want them to control.
And that is what US is scared of. And that is what US is scared of.
Look at the electric vehicles, right? US has put a ban on all electric vehicles in their territories, right? China has the capabilities of producing maybe roughly 3, 4, 5 million electric vehicles a year, yeah? You are telling me that Jamaica has a problem with gasoline. The world is going in a crisis, right? And we have not sought to say, okay, let me use this partnership with China, because most electric vehicles start at a standard at about 480 to 500 kilometers before you require charging.
Hey, yo, when I cut to my brother, but I'll get something even big, I know. Right now, there's a country in Africa where I produce car when I use gas. And
Uganda.
It's a produce car when I use gas, use battery. When you drive it, you can drive it and come back here and plug in your house, you run your house. And you get up and drive it tomorrow, the more you drive it, the more you charge up.
Yeah, Uganda is doing some research on that. But I'm not even saying from the EV.
The car, them are run already, they have been made.
Right, but I'm saying from the EV point of view, brother, right? Why we don't enter in...
I just say that.
I understand where you're coming from. But what I'm saying from the EV point of view, why are we not using that relationship so that we can save our import from, you know how much we spend on gasoline, we spend on importing gas every year? Jamaica spends at least 30 to 40% of its foreign exchange on buying fuel. Yeah? If we were to implement a proper electric vehicle system, but we have been told by the United States, don't dare, but they want us to buy Telsa though. Yeah? You see, Jamaica has to decide, and I'm going to yield to the panel. Jamaica has to decide going forward who its friends are and what is its interest. Jamaica cannot make a little guy, and I call him the crazy guy in the White House because he's a crazy man. Yeah, the Israel lockdown. Yeah, if they cannot allow these people to dictate to them, because let me tell you something, the world is moving past America. America is 20. Is that girl 20 years ago when they got school shows the hottest thing and now nobody don't want her? Yeah? So we now have to look at what our relationships are. We have to look at Russia, India, China, South Africa, yeah? Iran.
But how can we do that though if a dollar is pegged to the US?
No, we're not pegged to the US.
join BRICS.
No,
We need to join BRICS.
$1.
Remember, PJ advised Andrew Holness, that he must join the BRICS,
Yeah, but that's the only way we're going to stand up against them if you're not a member of the, you know that Cuba is a member of the BRICS? What make you think they're trying to where you think they're playing with Cuba now? You know that
Yes.
Venezuela is an associate member of the BRICS?
Cuba is a member,
Huh?
People, it's not.
Cuba is a member.
It's not as easy.
Cuba is a member of the BRICS.
Yeah, it's full member actually.
Can I say something now?
Mm-hmm.
It is not as easy as you say
To do what?
to make that transformation.
No, you're going to find an excuse around it.
No, let me hear him. Let me hear him.
But I don't think it's
Easier or not, that no matter. Not
Let me hear him out. No, let me hear him out. Let me hear him out.
Yes, a little bit of history. America has no financial interest in Jamaica.
Never have, never will. Mm-hmm.
America's only interest in Jamaica is geopolitical, based on the state. In the 70s, when they had the Cold War, the reason why the American CIA came here to destabilize the government was because they thought Mali was getting too close to Castro and communism. They don't want another communist country anywhere near American borders. So that is one of the major issues. Now, America will always fight against us moving towards China, us moving towards Russia, us moving to BRICS. So when you hear Carrie Lake say they're coming to, you see, what they're watching is the moves that Jamaica makes. That is what will determine how they move towards us. Now, we can always decide that we're going to do that, but we'll always have to make sure that we look at the consequences and the repercussions.
No, hold on. This is where, one second, my brother. There is no consequence, there's no repercussions that's going to come if we join BRICS. Let me tell you why. First of all, if they were to sanction us tomorrow morning, the BRICS economy, do you understand that the wealth of the BRICS is at least 2/3 of what the world controls in terms of the wealth, in terms of the mineral wealth? That's one. Two, if we were to become members of the BRICS, BRICS also has a security apparatus, which I know is going to offend them, but to hell with them. This is the problem why Jamaica is always in the problem that we are. You cannot run foreign policy on the basis of fear. Jamaica, to this day, America is buying Russian oil.
As I was saying, that the connections that we have economically with
we have none.
I mean, we have none. We're not in the SWIFT system.
Sir, we don't need, sir, let me tell you something about SWIFT.
Look, man, America just secure them back ends.
America does not control SWIFT anymore. You need to understand this. SWIFT has been replaced. SWIFT, that only keep on talking about. You're talking to somebody who understands banking. Outside of SWIFT, there's a new system now that is involved BRICS that does not involve SWIFT. It is called PIX. It's a Brazil version, yeah? Which is
exactly.
These member states have created their own financial back-end system to deal with transactions in their own currencies, by the way. So when we talk about SWIFT,
any currencies from the BRICS family.
Yes, could be the one, anyone. So we could decide to make the Brazilian real our currency, or the Chinese one if we want as our currency of trade.
But you can trade in our Jamaican currency too.
Exactly.
Who are we trading with?
You will trade in Jamaican currency too.
Who are we trading with?
Sir, does America show me one thing America buy from Jamaica? What America from Jamaica?
So who we trade with? So I'm asking you. Who are our
traded Africa, Russia,
I'm not
we can't trade with China, we can't trade with
listen,
with Brazil, we can't trade with Mexico, we can't trade with anybody.
I'm asking who we're trading with currency.
I'm asking who we're trading with. No. How do you transition? Listen, how do you transition out of all of these trade deals that we have using the system? How do we explain to me?
And I tell you how you do it. And I'm telling you how you do it. If you're going to move away from these trade deals, you have to renegotiate different trade.
International travel is linked to SWIFT. The tourism sector is linked to SWIFT. We do trade with America. Majority of our trading is with America. Tell me how we're going to transition out of all of that.
How much before 2025? How much did they import from Jamaica? We run trade deficits, sir. We're not running any trade surplus with the United States. In BRICS, we would have the ability to run a trade surplus, and I'll tell you why. For example, let's look at a country like Iran. Iran has an issue. It does not have sufficient, the land it has is not arable in all aspects. So they would need somebody to produce food for them. Yeah? Let me give you that as one. South Africa is equally the same. They import a lot of food. Yeah? If we were to negotiate proper arrangements, right? We could, and so is the member states from the Gulf nations. We would be able to have a different trade arrangement with them. Currently, no, we are running a trade deficit to the United States, and we are importing more things from the United States than they take from us. In fact, they have made it even difficult for barriers of trade with them because they have now put tariffs on goods emanating out of Jamaica. What we need to do now is we can bypass the United States and look at Canada, which is giving us duty-free for almost every goods coming out of Jamaica.
Remember, what you're talking about, is uprooting, because you decide that you're going to go BRICS. America is going to uproot whatever we have with them now. Are you prepared for that?
If we're before you get to BRICS, brother, before you get to BRICS, remember the first statement I made, BRICS is my ultimatum. BRICS is my last action. But the first thing is you need to look at different trade partners. For example, Canada. We have the CARIFORUM, which is headed by Canada.
Nothing is stopping us from doing that from ever since.
And that's why I'm saying we need to ramp it up and start to do more trading with Canada than America, because there's no duties on our goods entering Canada. There's none also on the EU. Why are we not sending more goods from Jamaica into the EU? The only thing with the EU is that they have stringent measures in terms of how we produce. The phytosanitary conditions have to be at a certain standard. Yeah? But if we were to prepare ourselves, we need to prepare ourselves to look beyond America, because America is in
that will be done over long term, because our the two industries that we get most of our resources from is tourism and remittance.
Yeah, but
that's why the Jamaican now we have full and put out Michael Manley without the far, we wouldn't start that right now without the far.
But look at Burkina Faso and do with farming. Things are never impossible to grow. And Burkina Faso.
That was Michael Manley picture.
No.
We're talking about now, if you're going through our tourism and through our remittance, can we stand on our own 2 feet?
We never say we are going to show them.
So why depends on tourism? If tourism gets cut, you have no food to eat.
First of all,
why depends on tourism?
Hold on. Let me ask this.
Our source market. No, one second.
Hold on, let me ask him a question about tourism.
Before you ask me that question, I have no problem in it.
Hold on, who is this talking? Is this DC?
DC, yeah.
From
I have no problem. I have no.
Is this labor right DC?
TC.
Oh, TC, you're right. Okay, go ahead. Because I was setting for him if it was him.
I have no problem with transitioning away from America, none whatsoever. None at all, because we must always try to be as diverse as possible so we can stand on our own 2 feet. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with just haphazardly digging up your roots and moving and destabilizing a country. I'm not in agreement with that.
Sir, no, but 1 second. And let me tell you why I say you're not understanding the argument. And you sound like you're one of them. If you had lived in the 70s, you're one of them would have been opposed to Michael Manley.
Hold on. Why you not make a statement like that?
Oh, you talk.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, 'cause you are trying to find excuse. You are trying to find excuse to remain in
I'm a realist. I am a realist. I'm not. You see, when you talk.
He's not the only realist. He's not the only realist. A realist will show you.
Before I start past these judgments, let me make myself clear. I am probably older than most of you. I mean, at sound that I can tell you, I may be older than most of you. You see?
You might think so.
You might think so.
Yeah.
I'm going on the history still, but I know the history of Jamaica. I know the history of Michael. I know the history of this country, and I can go through it step by step.
Did Michael destabilize Jamaica?
Not you alone, TC. There are others here who can do it too.
Did Michael manage?
Exactly.
I don't have an issue with that, you know. But when you go and pass judgment on me and tell me who, let me tell you something. You see, in 1980, Michael Manley turned over this government to the Jamaica Labour Party. For the 60.
Manley don't turn over nothing. Manley don't turn over nothing.
Block the guy there in the comment when name DC now. Just block him from out of the comment now, please. Thanks. Sorry, TC, go ahead.
When we lost the election in 1980, the debt to GDP was 63% of GDP. Edward Seaga took this country. In 1983, he called a slap election, and he lost the election in 1989. It was 9 years. It's when he left, the debt to GDP was 262%. Totally dismantled. As the PNP pick it up and struggle through. It's when Seaga left, there was no regulation for the banks and all of that. And when our finance minister came and saw all of that.
Omar Davis came with FSC with all of the regulatory bodies to deal with it, yes.
All right. So what he was doing was mapping up liquidity. All of these banks, so we are talking about central national banks, there was no regulatory system in place for all of that. People were getting loans without collateral and all of that. We brought...
Seaga got 30, to stick up in, Seaga got 30 million and said that he didn't remember he borrowed the loan, yes.
Bank, you have Peel Merchant Bank, you have all of these banks. We were totally, the economy was decimated. I mean, nobody talk about them someday. And we brought it back from that, ending with the Petrocar deal. So we don't even understand how we lost that election. Because if we never lose that election after we stabilize the country. When IMF we couldn't get loans from IMF, Portia Simpson Miller go bend down and preach to the IMF.
No, but remember you skip one piece out, you know. In 1995, 97, Seaga and 95, Seaga and Omar said, Tata IMF, we're done with you. Yeah? Remember, we moved away from PJ Patterson paid off the IMF in 95, yeah? And said we would never go back to the IMF. It was Bruce Colin who came back to the IMF in 2007 with audition and couldn't pass the test. And I yield back to you, my brother.
Exactly. And that is where when Portia came in, we had to actually, in order to get another loan from the IMF, we had to borrow the difference, the 7.5 difference. And borrow money from NHD in order to get the loan. And from that point onward, until we went to the Petrocar deal, and one time we closed that. The debt to GDP came right down and we were stabilized. And I don't understand how we lose that election.
The buyback of the debt, because what they sell, remember, and this is why I want to understand the JLP's operation. What the JLP has always done in Jamaica is that they have always looked at every time, you can go from as far back as to the 60s and before, 50s, 60s, 70s. Every time Jamaica's economy was at a critical crossroads, it has required the PNP to come into office to fix it. When we fix it, they ball austerity on us, and then the people vote against us. So we're an austerity government. So that was one of the things that one has to look at and see. So they were able to say, oh, remember Andrew was going around, people need break, man, give them some break. right? But he know when he became prime minister, he has been paying down more on the debt than what is required ahead of time and not spending any on social services. Remember, Portia always used to say balance the book while they balance people's lives. Even though she was in a difficult IMF agreement, anybody who was close to Portia would tell you, every time Portia went to negotiate with them, Portia would make it clear to them, I cannot suffer the people. They have suffered enough. But Andrew them never care about that. Andrew them say, remember Andy Shaw say, what you expect me to do? Make blood out of stone. Yeah? So we need to understand this is how the JLP, and I want to tie it back into the issue of trade. If we don't seriously look going forward and how we're going to reposition Jamaica, and Julian Robinson and Mark Golding said the formula, we have to look at high growth. We have to look at high growth. We have to look at high growth. We have to look at high growth in Kingston, Jamaica, and collect 2,000 or 3,000 US a month for just being a basic coder. Yeah? Working online for somebody anywhere in the world. We need to look at that because we need to create skilled jobs, high earning jobs, which can then give or increase the standard of living for our people. But that is not the modus operandi of Andrew Holness and the JLP. Their modus operandi has always been to starve the people and hope that within the 5-year period, when they go back to them and say, see, they're hungry, well, I want 25,000, I want 20,000, I want 10,000, I want 5,000, they will take it. So we have to look at how we grow the economy. For example, agriculture. Agriculture must be seen as, food security must be seen as national security. It cannot be separate. If you cannot feed yourself, you cannot secure yourself. It must be seen as that, yeah? We must also see electricity or see energy as also a part of and parcel of that national security apparatus. Because look at this. If the war is not going anywhere in Iran, you see them start it again, right? Because Trump wants to have this war ongoing so that he can not call any elections in November, by the way, if we don't realize by now. Yeah? So this war is going to go beyond November. Where is our policy now to quickly move to some renewables and putting more renewables in the grid? Where's our policy to reduce the duties, remove all duties and renewables so families in Jamaica can start to build out their renewables so that we can at least reduce our importation, because gasoline is going to, fuel is going to become expensive. It's not a matter of when, you know. We need to start to put in those measures, and I yield to the panel.
So what is happening is the Angela government only intention is to rape this country. Now, when you look at NARA is protecting what they are doing without interfering. All they want to do is fatten their pockets. They have no intention in building this country. As well, you said move towards different sources. He's not interested in that. He's into whatever he calls development. As that is development without the people. You can't be developing a country and the people are not involved. And what he's doing, there's a clause in the NARA bill, you know, will tell you that if you're a whistleblower, something
You can be arrested.
You can be arrested and charged up to fine up to $1 million.
No, but guess what? You know, so that can go stand because the whistleblower legislation is supposed to override it. But I'm going to get a lot of legal challenge. But Andrew think him smart, but you leave him alone. Yeah?
I think that you first have to fix the supreme law before you can fix economics. So I believe we have experimented with this capitalism for far too long, and I think we need to move away from it because it don't even work in the country that promotes capitalism. Capitalism don't work in America. So I don't know the hell we think it's gonna work here. So I think we need to
remember, capitalism, if you're greedy, There will be no trickle down, you know.
No, listen, man. Capitalism work. Democracy is no work. Capitalism work. Democracy is no work.
Capitalism is just for
Capitalism work.
Where?
It work as the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. That is capitalism.
No, that work for the people, you know. We don't talk work for the
Democracy is not a policy, you know. Democracy is not a style of style of government. Democracy is just allowing the people to be a part of the decision making. Manley was talking about democratic socialism. It was a mix between democracy and socialism, but capitalism is the policy and is the style of government. Communism is a style of government. Socialism is a style of government. So when you say democracy, then
it's a style of government.
No, man, it's not a style of government.
So don't they tell you that America is a democratic country?
It's a democracy, yeah. But they practice
capitalism. Okay, so what are trying to tell me now?
They practice capitalism.
Yeah. And capitalism work.
Work where?
It work for them. It work for them.
Just like because what the point I was trying to make, we need to understand this, you know, and I don't want to get caught up in the capitalism, socialism thing. But if you look at Jamaica, right? What we have in Jamaica is a form of governance, or not even governance, but leadership called oligarch, leadership by the oligarchs. When you hear the Americans talk about oligarch, in America they call them entrepreneur, but in Russia it's oligarch. You see the difference in terminology. Now, in Jamaica, imagine when a politician has become the richest person after just serving 1 term or 2 terms. I am telling you, I could call names of MPs in the House on the Jamaica Labour Party side who are now billionaires in Jamaican dollars. Yeah? Never worked nowhere yet, never owned a business, right? Never have nothing major to claim to fame, but they're now billionaires. And we have to ask ourselves the question, how did these people become so empowered and so brazen that they could steal state resources and look on you and I every election and tell you how the country is doing well? I want to expand on the point I was raising about diversifying the economy. I remember we were having a discussion with Matthew Samuda on water, and we sent Matthew a proposal on water. And I'm going to call them out because I'm not afraid of them now. It's time to call them out. Yeah? We told the government of Jamaica that you're going to be having problems with water going forward. Why not look at desalination? Right? Desalination is converting salt water into drinkable water or brackish water, if you want to use the terminology. Yeah? Do you know, to this day, in the tourism belt, we should not be taking our good drinking water given to no damn tourists, right? To bathe their skin. They used to bathing with salt water and reverse osmosis water. Yeah? Why are we not looking at places like Negril, places like Montego Bay, places like Trelawney and Fenton, and assembling desalination plants so we can then take off the hotels, which by the way, in Anova alone, one hotel have 1,000 rooms. To just service that hotel alone, it needs a minimum of somewhere between 1 million to 2 million gallons a day just to service that hotel. Yeah? So if you were to take them off and put them on a desalination plant, what it means is that areas of Anova and Negril would have been freed up to allow them to have more water sent into the communities, which is drinkable water, by the way. Yeah? That's one. 2, when you look at Senton, remember all of these places are by the sea. Yeah? We need to get, and when we share the insight with Minister Samuda said, oh yes, it's brilliant, but it's too expensive. But then I have no problem thieving taxpayers' money. Yeah? then I have no problem giving them friends big lucrative contracts. But just to do something that would give the people more water in Westmoreland, in the western part of Jamaica, they don't support. Imagine if we were able to do all of this, you know what it would do for the people of Jamaica? We would not have the water issues that we have. The people in St. Elizabeth, imagine a desalination. That's what the Middle East have no water, you know. Where them get the water from? Now from the sea? The Red Sea?
My brother, I don't really think that is necessary because there's so much rivers and falls in Jamaica for we are desalinated water, brother. It just needs proper infrastructure.
My brother, do you know what it costs to generate river water?
Like in Westmoreland, there's we can call out 3 major rivers right now in Westmoreland. You have the Rolling River, you have the Street River, you have the Cabrera River. You have
Westmoreland don't have a water problem. It does have a water management, storage, and distribution.
No real infrastructure for the
You have to
water.
think ahead, doing. You have to think about climate change and what it's doing to our rivers, you know.
Exactly.
So that's why you need proper infrastructure, proper care, proper attention to what you have.
Look at this.
Remember now, you know, you have your aquifers and all the other sources of water coming from. If you check with what is happening now, you know.
The aquifers are drying up.
The aquifers are drying up.
Exactly. And aquifers, and in fact, we are building on the aquifers. That's one. Two, we are drilling in the aquifers, which is changing the direction that the water normally goes.
The mining is also doing that, changing the course of the
exactly, of the river, and where water would normally flow. So when you look at it, right? A basic desalination plant to build out a 1 million gallon plant, right? Or a 2 million gallon plant, it takes us maybe about 20 million US, right? To build it out. If you were to do that and say from Westmoreland to Montego Bay, it's only the hotels you're going to connect to that desalination plant. The hotels can more than pay for it. Put it in the bill, let them pay, tell them that's a part of you coming into the country. You must be prepared to pay for it. Yeah? So I'm not saying the Jamaican citizens should pay for desalination because they're not use it. It's the hotels that should pay.
I see your idea, I see your idea. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't thought Jamaica would be like short of water for so many rivers.
We have our rainfall has been, in fact, the rainfall in Jamaica and the Caribbean has been declining over the last 10 years. Climate change is real. It's not a hoax as some people make it out to be. In fact, as TC does point out, if you listen to a guy named Basil Fernandez, when you go build this concrete jungle over the largest natural body of aquifer, which is between Bernard Lodge and in Trelawney, right? Them take up all of these aquifer lands and building on them, right? Then, not only that, you have sewage seeping into the aquifers, yeah? Which that is why the E. coli levels are so high in water. I'm not a water engineer, but I understand water, yeah? And this is something that we have to look at. Going forward, this is where everybody is going. Every country right now is looking at desalination because it is the way of the future. But Jamaica want to stop. Look at where Ian is point out. To generate the water, you need electricity or gasoline for argument's sake. But none of us have ever talked about generating water using solar pumps and solar facilities. That is the way we should be thinking because when the electricity goes, you have no water.
Yeah, but you can also have you can recycle water too, you know.
Yeah, but the recycled water, which is what we call reverse osmosis, yeah? If you it is even, I don't believe in giving recycled water to people. Recycled water really should be for the purpose of
you wouldn't give it
irrigation.
You would give them to drink, but you would give them fields for irrigation, like washing
but that has already been done through National Irrigation Commission.
Okay.
Right, so you really would have, In fact, the XX Valley, which is down in St. Elizabeth, which is supposed to be the largest pedro plains, the plains down there, yeah, they are supposed to be generating water through that similar thing, which is the reverse osmosis using recyclable water coming from as far as the Black River, right? But understand, and every year you hear this project announced and I know it can't complete, and it was a grant from the UK. So these guys really, and me don't want to talk too long, but these guys really, they just don't care. And that is what the issue that we have in Jamaica. You have an administration, a set of thieves, criminal and hoodlums. I'm not afraid to say so. Yeah? And the chief thief is the Prime Minister.
They're only interested in projects that them can pilfer from.
Exactly. I remember we met with him on TC, right? Coming and hide. Andrew Wallace know who me be. When I met with him with the investor at the CARICOM conference, the first thing Andrew Wallace looked on us and tell us, that sound a little bit too expensive, and him asked him bullshit the man for about half an hour. Yeah? And when the meeting done, I said to the man, you're not going to come at this. He said, what? I said, listen to me, nothing is going to come of it. He said, where you get that? I said, nothing will come of it because I know this man is a bullshitter. Yeah? International bullshitter, Andrew Wallace. They should change his name from Andrew Wallace to IBS, International Bullshitter. Yeah?
Andrew Wallace taken her to the market, taken her to the galas. Andrew Wallace is totally, I don't know if a class member, actually I can't find the word, but
I will say, unless it benefits the Jamaica Labour Party ministers and Andrew Wallace and his team, they don't believe in doing anything. Yeah, this thing with Darrell Vaz come, and this is my last point, because I'm going to run, my friends. You hear about this point that they raised with about Darrell Vaz with Dayton Campbell. And I want to say, because me is one of them who not afraid to talk about Darrell Vaz, because me not afraid of Darrell Vaz, and Darrell Vaz not frightened me. Yeah? Darrell Vaz needs to be honest to people and tell the people the truth. That article, which was featured in the Gleaner, was not an origination of Dayton Campbell. It was the Gleaner. So if them have no issues with anybody, they should take it up with the Gleaner because Dayton only reported what the Gleaner said. And I remember reading that Gleaner article on a blessed Sunday morning when Jamie, the one in St. Ann and the one in Portland, all were giving their reports to the Gleaner saying that they were accused of wanting to unalive Andrew Wallace. And that's an article. So how could you sue a man for what the Gleaner brought? Is the Gleaner brought the article? Is them give the opinion to the Gleaner? Huh?
You're breaking up.
No, I'm saying the article that featured, it was an article that said they wanted...
Sabotage, man.
Boy, they look like they're using the Pegasus on me because I never had no issues with my internet. You hear me now?
We're not hearing a thing, but that's...
I'm hearing you.
Probably the lead argument is.
no man, they can't handle the Gleaner, man.
No way.
Lower down clear, bro.
I'm going to leave. Have a good night.
You're low down clear, bro.
Hey boy, TC still big up on yourself, alright?
Yeah, man, I'm doing the same thing as well. But all I have to say to Darrell, your fight is not with Dayton. Your fight is with your conscience. Yeah? It's your conscience. The issue you have is with your conscience, not with Dayton Campbell, not with anybody else in Jamaica. They used to sing a song at church, if your conscience set you free, praise the Lord. Yeah? So that article really don't TC. We need to go look for the article, right? And you will see it. It's them say they were accused of it and they want to sue the man for something with them say. How could that make sense?
They can't take the Gleaner. The Gleaner proper defense, but the case is not none.
I was staying with the marches. I hear one coming up shortly, and there's another one. Read the new ticketing system, 7th of September.
Yeah. I heard about a shutdown
TC have? Because I am hearing you loud and everybody in the thing was saying they were hearing. So TC kept on saying he was not here. It might be his internet.
Yeah. I before I come on globally, I just watched this young lady. So she get a $10,000 ticket and she cry her face off, brother, because of the phone holder, she have her stick up in her car.
Well, we don't feel sorry for them, because they knew it was coming. And a lot of them cry now. They were warned about it.
Yeah, but my brother, we understand, say, they put themselves in some deep holes, but we can't do everybody to be the same, because who knows where she went. I never met her yet, I don't know about her, so.
No, it's true. No, you're correct in the assessment, but I'm saying when a government with oppressive comes to governance, this is what you must expect them to do.
Yeah.
You can't expect any better from them. You ever see good coming from evil?
Exactly. This is why I tell these people Andrew Wallace is a Caucasian, because they don't understand. It's only brotherhood join brotherhood in a brother. I never see a gunman walk with a pastor. What's your matter?
That's not good of it. Well, anyway, my brother, Teacher Klaba going run leaving, because this phone is about to die. So I got to get.
Everybody has you. You want some new customer.
Excuse me.
Yeah, man. Now where there you see one gunman and one pastor, the pastor try to get the dodos and the pastor, man.
Oh, you mean thieving criminal Almila?
Yeah, but when you see them walk, they know so them are the same thing.
No, Almila is a politician.
Yeah, man.